I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Hey, what is...
Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
What is going on, guys? Gonna get this party started here.
They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling out.
I, for the record, hit go or start live when it was still 9:30. It took a little while on your guys' end to catch up, but on my end, it still said I wasn't late. So there's that, Sean. Take that. What's going on, guys? Tons of you in the chat already. I saw AZ Froggies, JMRC, Sean, RC Amigos is in the house as well. What's going on, my man? Brian Tapp, Black Ops, Nate Schaub's been in here. Yes, 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 Nate. All yeses, I think, if I can remember. And Trio Axles, at least mine, have made it pretty bulletproof. For those of you guys joining us late, we will put time code in. I think I forgot to do that for last week's. But I'll do last week's and this week's tonight. And put a time code in there for when it actually starts. Got one thumbs down already. That's good. It's a good start. 11 thumbs up, so that's even better, guys. Thanks for joining. We'll be with you in a moment.
Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be right home soon. When the sun rises, when the sun
We do have Cody in the house already. 2 thumbs down, 22 thumbs up. Look at that. It's very mathematical in the way that that number jumped. It's those aliens, I tell you. Get that rock and roll groove going here. All right. I did just get some of the new Pro Line Demolisher tires in for the LMT. We can take a quick look at those in a little bit after Cody explains himself.
Shady silhouetted images and industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to feed our addiction for radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy. But we are on your side, cracking the RC code. Because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready and put on those tinfoil hats because your fearless leader is here. Please welcome your host, the lead RC conspiracist, Tony Cece. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another RC Conspiracies podcast. Today, the conspiracy: where did clean RC cars go? Right? We all wondered that, and we have Cody with us. He's off screen right now in timeout right now, and we're gonna leave him there for a little bit, make him wait, kind of like he made us wait through the end of December and most of January, it seems like. So he left us hanging. Little cliffhanger there, so we're gonna just make him hang out for a little bit. I don't know, seems fair. What do you guys think? I think it's fair. Yeah, so at the end of the year, this is what we saw after all of that awesome RC monster truck content that he'd been posting with all of his stuff over on Instagram. Basically 20,000 followers here. Awesome. USA 1, by the way. And then we get to, what's the date on this? 5 weeks ago. So December 28th, we get that. And then more of that. And then just we're all caught up. And this is what we get. Just a white screen when you show up and you go over to his page. And it's like, okay, what's going on? I think I called it. I said it's fresh new start, you know, clean slate, blank white paper. I posted that somewhere on, I think the last one. Yeah, here. Perfect grid of white with the you are all cut up in the middle. Nice clean break for 2021. So that was my call right there, just in case anybody cares. I'm smart up here. A little bit. Sometimes. Then we start getting all these teaser videos. And I honestly didn't know what it was for the first one. Other people did. And then eventually we see the bounty hunter come out, and it looks sick. So we'll have him come in here in a minute. But again, we're going to make him wait for a second. Really quick, we're going to go through the stuff that makes me money, which is always awesome, is merch. I do have some merch. The new Broken Axle Club stickers look pretty hot, guys. They're actually a good size. Smaller than your hand. They look good on your toolbox, in your garage, on your iced tea fridge. If you have one of those in your man caves, these are cool. Out of control RC stickers as well. We're stepping up our merch game, guys. So we've got all of that stuff available. It's actually like right down below the video. Usually it might be down there below. I don't know if live chat allows that to happen. What's up, guys? Bunch of you in here. We'll catch up to you in just a second. We'll get in here, look at all the questions coming through, and probably ask you to post them again. So we don't have to scroll. My scroll finger's like broken. So there's that going on. But yeah, so if you go to here on the web page, YouTube thingy majigger, there's the little store button, and you can go in here. It doesn't allow me for some reason to populate the newest ones, but you can go in and get over to my store in through here somehow. And they don't make it easy. CCXRC products. And then you can find the RC Brashing is Not a Crime, the Smoking Motor shirt. Somebody was in here that needed that earlier. Jeremiah, right? Doesn't that look perfect for your Arma when you're driving it? And then we have the newest ones, which were they in here? The Broken Axle Club ones? They're probably at the bottom somewhere if you keep scrolling. If not, I have a link somewhere. That's Not Scale. I Monster Trucks, Out of Control. Have quite a bit of merch. Here it is. They are way at the bottom. Sheesh. And there's t-shirts too somewhere. I didn't add it apparently. We'll get it added for you guys. Sorry. But there is a link to it over on my my Facebook if you like the Broken Axle Club one. So I think without further ado, we can bring him out of timeout. He took a long enough break before, so we should not make him take too long of a break right now. So we'll bring in Cody.
Hey, man. Hey, what's going on, Tony? How you doing?
Hey, not much, man. I'm doing good. I took a good nap before this. So you can see the bags under my eyes. Not too much. So I'm nice and rested and ready to chat.
Yeah, man. There was a lot to unpack there in that intro.
Yes.
I don't really know where to start. It's that 2020
Yes.
that kind of put a cap on the whole thing. I just the whole thing about
I'm done early. You checked out early. You were like 3 days, 2 days early. You're like done.
Well, so as you know, we had those two RC Amigo contests, the freestyle contest, which
Yes.
ran into Thanksgiving, which was also my wife's birthday, which then ran into Christmas, which then by that time I'd been on the gram every day because everybody's locked in the house for a year. So I just needed to step away for a second.
Mhm.
And I thought it would be cool to just, make it look like that.
Tease
That's all.
everybody.
Yeah, just teasing. All the whole time I was not on the gram. I've been very, very busy just with life stuff, house stuff, but also
Not allowed. Not allowed. Not an excuse. I don't want to hear it.
oh, this guy won't even pick up the phone. He's
Trailer
all over
Trash
the internet, but he won't pick
Who
up the
is this
phone.
guy? It's KLN a gang. Yes. Yes.
But
Monster
no,
Truck Mafia.
you I think everybody was feeling after a year just being cooped up and on the internet for a year. I mean, it was fun. It was unbelievably fun, and I had a great time this year or last year, 2020, on the internet. As far as with the Monster
you hit
Truck.
it hard, man. You put it into full burnout mode, like at the
Yeah.
end. Like you were doing live streams every night,
I think I did.
or twice a day.
It was I counted it on my page alone was 50 of them, and then that doesn't count like going on with you and RC Amigos and a couple other people. It was like 70 of them in like a month. Yeah. But I was learning a lot. That's why I did it. I was just putting a lot of reps in. I was trying to learn how to do it. And because I really been on camera, very much, and it is the internet, so there's a lot that comes with that. So I was just trying to learn as much as I could in a short amount of time. I knew the holidays was coming, and I wanted to make sure I was, I just get as much as I could in before it got too crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
and then just with all the LMT news, and I actually wasn't going to get one. I honestly wasn't going to get one. I have enough trucks.
I don't believe it. You haven't started. I don't believe you.
I wasn't going to get one.
Nah.
I didn't need one. I have too many.
I'm a monster truck guy. LMT. Nah.
I don't even have a Claude, man.
I don't even need it.
I don't even have a Claude, so I wasn't going to get one.
True.
Just
you went out of order.
Yeah, I know, right?
It'll make you appreciate the Claude even more, I think.
I think so too, and I honestly think too with that's a whole nother tangent we can go down with where the Claude's going to end up being since this truck come out.
Oh, it's still going to be there, man.
I saw this truck
nowhere.
I saw the LMT without the cage on it, and I was like, that's interesting. Just the shape of it, the way it was shaped, and I was like, that'd be interesting.
It looks like a bat symbol, doesn't it? It kind of
yeah. And I was like,
throw it.
Apparently there has been a skinny bounty hunter done before. I didn't know that. Michael Lecter did it twice.
Okay.
But I hadn't seen one with the shocks coming out the hood, and I was like, I wonder if that would work on the LMT. And that's kind of what sparked the whole thing. Getting the LMT in the first place was like, well, everybody's just kind of just doing the son of a digger and the grave digger, and maybe a different body, but nobody's kind of made a custom truck until our friend Big started doing it. We see all his teasers, and I'm like, dang, I got to hurry up and do this. So,
oh man, Big America's is looking super rad.
Yeah. So he kind of had a similar idea. He saw the chassis and was like, we can do a weirdo truck, one of these weird trucks that are unconventional.
Yeah.
So
metal cage on the top of a metal cage.
Yeah, and then he's doing
metal cage on top of metal plates.
And he's
not
doing
going for the lightest truck out there.
No, I was talking to
guys like, how can I lighten this up? We're gonna tear everything off it and strip it down, cut it down, and yeah. He's like, man, let me stick a big piece of metal on top.
He's a little nervous about all that weight on those axles. Yeah, I've been talking to him about it a little bit, but it'll be a cool truck to see the Rockstar, in action like that. So that'll be really cool. So.
Yeah, he's gonna backflip the moonwalk, broken axle.
That's his thing.
I got shirts I can sell him.
I know, right? I thought I've been jumping the crap out of this thing on 3S, and every time I landed, I thought I was gonna join the club. So
Nah, man, you saw the other video. Your climate's good enough, right? You're not below 40.
We're at about 40, 45. So
At night or during the day?
just during the day. Yeah.
Okay.
I only run during the day. So yeah, I was cringing. I mean, I've seen as many people as broken, the last couple of weeks. I was cringing, but this thing is tough, man. This thing is insane. But to go back to the bounty hunter thing and where I've been getting that. I got a couple other projects that I'm about to drop on you guys that only a couple people know about, that I'm getting ready. And so, but this was one of the first ones, and I wanted to kind of jump in and get out there before everybody else started doing custom stuff with the LMT.
Yeah.
So,
let's show yours off for a second because we can. We've got it. Let's show some of the videos and then some of the questions that we have. We'll get into it. I think I have the audio muted on these. And if I disappear and freeze up because for some reason it's only happened twice, and it's been both times I've been doing Instagram videos with Citizen RC and Fresh Squeeze, that I got locked up and kicked out. And just keep talking to people, and I'll be back in. I'll just jump back in and join in. So
yeah,
it does happen for some reason with this every once in a while. So first video was
that
this.
wasn't the first. No, that wasn't the first one.
You did some teasers, but this shows you a little bit more.
You can kind of sell what's about to happen.
You can see what's going on here. These ones are a little bit more dramatic. Like
a couple guys guessed it, like off of that.
I didn't see it in that first one.
Yeah, I wanted it to look like it, but I didn't want it to look like it too. I just wanted to tease it just enough, and if you kind of were paying attention, you'd figure it out. That one was definitely, you can't tell what's going on.
Should have started with that one probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how to run your channel as we go through all this. Okay?
I need some help, man, please.
All right. So anyway, this one, you finally really start to see it, and those shocks sticking up look sick.
Yeah, that's what did it. I honestly that was a very last minute thing, and I'd made that video that day right before I posted it, because the shocks were mounted normally with the normal mounts, and it looked cool, but that's what it needed to be. So I just grabbed some SCX.
So I was going to say the first one's the reason I didn't see it was because
I
didn't see the shocks out on this one.
Yep.
Then you see the tees in this one with the shocks out. So did you just move the original shock mounts, or did you get some?
No. So there's no way to do that. As you know, those where the shocks mount, there's bigger holes in there, so it's no way to like raise it up without it, not being secure. So I had to use SCX10. I don't know if I think they're the rear shock tower.
The hoops.
Yeah. I just had a couple laying in the box, and I was like, this might work, and it actually worked. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And it just set it off right there. After I did that, I was like, oh, this is it. I was so happy when I did that. So
a little bit of ingenuity. Now I see it right here, especially.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you look at it, it's kind of ugly, but just the overall kind of it posing like the real truck, it gives that.
I mean, the real truck's kind of funky.
Yeah.
And you have a photo showing both of them. So this is the design that Jimmy Cretin came out with in 2018, I think it was.
Yeah, and there's a couple different versions.
But when he did the shocks through the body and he slammed it like this, wasn't it 2018? He did a couple different skins for it.
Yeah. And that's before he won. He actually won I think it was 2019 he won, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it was 19.
Yeah, when Bari red lighted somehow. But the thing with that, and he had the 5-finger death punch though, right?
Yeah, he had a couple different skins on there too, and I was trying to figure out which skin to do. I didn't have a lot of time because I didn't know what Big was going to drop, and I wanted to come back on the gram as soon as possible. So it was kind of a thing where I just needed to make the simplest one. And if you can't see it on that, but it's actually the super dark digi camo, just like and so really I should have gray B locks to match that version of the truck. But I just had to hurry up and get it done so I could get back on the gram and show everybody before all these other trucks started coming in. So
all
it's
the
kind
copycats. Oh, here you can see the digi camo on this one.
Yeah, a little bit. You can see, and it's
right
matte.
here.
It's matte,
Yeah.
so you can't really. You have to really look for it, but yeah, it's
So the
dark.
whole thing wrapped.
Yep,
So
the
that's
whole
what I
thing is
want to know.
wrapped.
I've been super busy like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So I haven't been able to read some of the longer ones. I know that you took like it looks like a Ford Raptor body.
Yep. It's the
But
Ford Raptor
basically
with the
front
canopy
end
on it.
with the canopy from J Concepts
Proline.
Proline?
It's Proline, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they
It's
make
the
the one
crawler
that has
body.
the canopy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you cut it up in the back or all the way down the middle.
I cut it down the middle, and then I cut it. So I basically cut it. I cut about a 2-inch strip off both sides. There was a line I followed on both sides, and I was going to use that to kind of help glue it back together. But then I realized it wasn't going to work just the way it was. So I had to kind of reverse engineer and figure out a way to make this thing still bashable because, as you know, launching this thing, you're going to end up on this roof a lot.
Yeah, and so
And I
you
don't have
taped
the
the
cage.
inside. I saw that, right?
Yeah, it kind of goes through kind of what I did and how I cut the middle.
Oh, here's where I saw it.
Yep. Yeah, I cut the middle, and then it was still too long. And I don't know if you can see on that picture, I don't have it going through the front of the chassis yet. So because
Right.
I had to cut the front of the chassis too to get it to fit right.
Oh,
But
you cut it off. You trimmed the chassis.
I put 2 little slots in there so the chassis would stick out, kind of like the real thing. It has a little bumper on the
So
front.
your body goes into the chassis itself.
Yeah.
Almost
And that
like
was
a
the only way
bumper.
I can get it as low as possible. By the time it hit the brace where it holds the shocks together, that's as low as it would go. So very interesting trying to figure out how to make this thing do what I wanted it to do, but also still be functional.
Right.
That was the toughest part, was to, get the look but still have it be functional. So that's where it actually started. Yep. I took an old Jeep body I had laying around and kind of figured out how I was going to set it up, and I didn't want to cut the Ford
body, not the chassis.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, exactly. And I wanted to kind of see how it was going to line up, and kind of just like I said, did mock-ups on it, how wide it was, and that way I actually took that body and I taped around where the holes were, where the suspension was, and then I took it off and put it on the Ford, and then cut it out on the Ford. So that way I knew where it would line up. So it was a wild build. It took me a week to do this, man. To just do the body.
Oh yeah, here's where it sticks out. It's you can really see it there.
Yeah.
And then you wrapped it, but on the inside you put a bunch of and I probably missed it. Like one of these you can skip through.
Yeah.
So where you're looking. So I probably missed it on the last one where you did the tape.
Yeah, see, that's where I slotted it, and that's where I lined up and I had to make the holes big enough too on that, in case you wanted to move the suspension frontwards or backwards, because it's right in the middle right there.
Yeah.
So I still had to make it clear, be able to clear the whichever way I decided to move it, if I wanted to move it. So I had no idea how I was going to do the hoops at that point yet, so I didn't make clearance for it, but I just was kind of thinking as far as function went. So then where we at?
You get more into it here. We'll go back to the other part in a second. The when you had it torn down.
The first thing I actually did, and I think I DM'd you when the first mod I did was I painted the wheels.
Yeah, and that was the last picture.
Yeah, the thing's out of order on the computer for some reason. I don't know why that is.
So here it is with you took it off to paint the wheels.
Yep, there we go.
Taped it all off.
Which, by the way, it's funny because I remember when you were doing your axle rebuild, and it was like it was so hard to get the wheel nuts off. It was so hard. I was like, am I going to be able to get these off?
That's where those ProTech drivers are so awesome, with the holes in the handle. You just shove another one through, and it's a T-wrench, and you get all of that torque on it.
Yep, that makes sense, 100%. But yeah, that was the first mod I did. Well, thing I couldn't stand I couldn't stand it anymore, and it looks a lot better when it's sitting now.
Yeah, because that inside you don't see the bigger inner part. It makes the wheel look like it stands in more. So then you got to here.
So then I painted it. So after this, I got it all sized, and then I painted it. So I put that there just for the gram, so that was the next step. So
okay,
I started painting it. And I wasn't sure how the Shugu. I mean, I know Shugu eats the paint, so I wasn't expecting to use just the black, especially
Shugu
with
eats the paint. I use Shugu to protect my paint.
it eats the paint. Maybe the paint was too. It wasn't cured all the way, but it once I started putting on the Shugu and the drywall tape, it started eating through. So
Really?
oh yeah.
Whenever I get a body from anybody, what I do is I put Shugu on it as like a barrier so it doesn't chip off from the inside.
Yeah,
Vape
it might have just been too. It hadn't cured yet. I mean, it
Yeah.
was so because yeah, you can see in some of the pictures, you can kind of see where the drywall's starting to seep through the paint.
Yeah, right here.
On the seam. Yeah, but
But
once
did you wrap over it?
so once I got it, so the reason I painted it too was just to kind of get a better visual idea of how to bolt it back together, size wise. You know, just kind of referencing where to put everything before I put holes in it and drilled the back of it onto the front. So that's why I painted it. I knew I was going to wrap it the whole time. I just wanted to have a better visual representation on kind of where to put everything. So
We have a great question from Sean O'Connell. We'll get to in just a second. We'll wrap up this build and how it turned out. So where did you get all your stickers and decals and all that done?
So, you know, honestly, with it not being kind of licensed or whatever, I kind of don't like.
You can't tell.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
but
fine.
We
You
all
worked
know
with somebody to get.
Yeah, I worked with a friend of a friend.
Who does some live streaming sometimes.
That's what I'll say. Well, he helped me out. He's always helped me out. He's a good friend.
So the whole thing is a wrap.
It's all wrapped, yeah.
And
I had to wrap it in pieces. Well, that doesn't anymore after a couple of them 30-foot jumps. It don't look good no more. But
well, that's what makes it look good.
I had to figure out too. Also, I had to figure out. I knew I had to wrap it because I had to hide the seam, and it doesn't really hide the seam that much. But I had to hide the seam in the front nose. I don't know if you could tell there. I actually cut a piece of Lexan.
Yeah,
and I just glued it over the top of the seam because that part's where all the vent hood, the visor, or not the visor, the what is that thing in the middle of the hood? I don't know why I'm blanking out now. But you know, the scoops and all that stuff in the hood. So I couldn't it's not very hideable because I didn't cut it straight. So I just put a piece of Lexan, kind of cut it as in a triangle shape to hide it. So
gotcha.
It's gonna, the more I bash this thing, the more this thing's gonna break apart anyway. So it's just a matter of time before this thing ends up trash, being it glued back together. Basically, that's all that's holding it.
You need a secondary body to run when you're really going for it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't with the shock sticking out though.
Yeah. So what's cool about it though is basically that's the only mod on the truck as far as suspension wise. I just put the regular shock mounts back on it. It'll be stock LMT.
And looking at the stance of it, we'll show some run footage in a second. Yeah. It really, let's find a stance shot. There's a picture. Because it really changed the stance of it.
I lowered it quite a bit, and it took a while to figure out how to. That was the main thing too, is like lowering the body, but also lowering the stance of it.
Because the front links go up.
Yeah, yeah. It's because the shocks are mounted up higher. That's the reason.
Higher.
Yeah. But I also, I as you can tell, it doesn't have springs on it. And a lot of my trucks don't have springs on it because I run internal springs because it gives that in slow motion. It gives that, that it looks more like a real truck in slow motion. It's not.
Now, is it oil inside too and internal spring?
Yes. On this one, yes, because once I saw how much it was launching, I was like, I can't run these dry. I got to have something in there. So it was just to watch this thing just launch off of this. I mean, that was a baby one too. I mean, the one I posted, because the reason it launched like that is because it did a wheelie right before.
You hit the wheelie and slapped it. This is the one you hit on the front wheels.
Yeah,
I think
that's the crazy launch. Yep. And again, I think that was at 75% too.
Yeah, if you're on 3S, is it 3S or 2?
Yeah, it's 3S. I'm running the Spectrum, the smart battery. It's a 5000 100C. So yeah, this was at the track, and I'm trying not to nosedive and case it. And of course,
Ooh.
I did that about 20 times. I actually ended up breaking the shock mount, and that's what killed the day for me. But that was about, I don't know, about 15 jumps into it. So
What do you have? Is that tape, blue tape on the links to make them
yep,
blue or
it's
paint them?
that's all it is. It's just tape. Yeah, just or not tape. It's more like, you know, that wrapped stuff they sell at Hobbytown. It's kind of for like airplanes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that. I just wanted something I could just put on there real quick. I didn't want to paint them or like, you know, powder coat them.
So what internal springs did you use
So
in those shocks? Those are the stock shocks or no?
they're the stock shocks. I took out all the oil and I bought this bag of
Hold on 1 second. We're gonna
yeah.
present you.
So I was knowing I was going to do this build and knowing I wanted to run internal shocks, I bought a bag of random springs, not even knowing if there was anything in here that would fit in there. And I just kind of picked and choose between basically what was stiff enough or soft enough, long enough to where I could still get full compression. And it wasn't like, you know, being a bump stop in there, but also would keep it at a certain ride height. So it was a lot of figuring out what to do.
So are they full length internally, or are they short so that initial?
They're short. I had to cut a couple of them. I had to cut. Actually, I have.
So it's starting kind of in a droop a little bit then.
Yeah, about halfway down the shaft. So
okay.
Where did I put those ones? I had them here, but oh well, I lost them now. So yeah, so it took a while to figure out the stance, but also so it still has suspension, because a lot of times my trucks, you with the SMT, it's so much lighter. You can run them dry and it'll still basically have suspension. This one's so heavy, it doesn't like that at all. I mean, I was hitting the link. So basically too on the front, and I don't know if you noticed this, the front links hit the sway bar. You gotta like lower them, because they'll hit the sway bar before it fully compresses. I was like, why is this making a noise? It's like a metal clink. And I was like, what is that? And then I kept pushing it, and I'm like, oh, it's hitting, it's hitting the sway bar, the bar that goes across. So I figure out what to do with that. You know, the only thing that I didn't really like.
Did you take your bump stops off it?
No, they're still there. They're still there.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're pretty thick. Like,
as
far as like, big. I was surprised. I thought they were just
do like that little thin piece in there that stops it. Theirs look like a full legit, like the whole shock hits it and stops.
Yeah. And it was crazy when I bought the truck. I got it the first day it came out. The Hobbytown in our store had like 8 of them, and I put my name on one of them, and they sold out that day. All 8 of them were gone.
Did you get the roller?
No, I got the RTR. I wanted the RTR because I just wanted to feel how it was out of the box. With the electronics and all that, and I knew I was going to do the bounty hunter. Dude, this is insane. It is absolutely crazy. It's actually too fast, in my opinion. On 3S, it's too fast because a lot of people aren't experienced with this much power on a solid axle truck, and it's different than on a Slash or a Creighton or some with independent suspension. It's a lot different. I mean, I honestly drives really good for that type of speed, but you're more prone to break it when you do get out of control. You know,
you slam something.
Yeah.
Full speed. Well, and that's what people don't understand. Like, we did that bash video, but we're never like fully opened up. Like, we're using the throttle, like really punching it on approach to hit something.
Yeah.
But it's never like, some people are just full trigger through a field, and then they hit something, and launch. And it's just so much more inertia in that type of approach. And so it's definitely like and that's what I like about running in confined spaces. There's a lot of people that would like to just be in a big open field and just full trigger the whole time and just. But I like that confined space where you'd never. I mean, the full throttle is more of like air control.
Yeah,
and also kind of that last minute, push at the base. The base of the jump, you can give it that little extra pop to get it to go either further or whatever. You have the room to control it, but
exactly.
So it looks like we're going super crazy and super big, and it was pretty big, a lot of what we were doing, but it's different. And we're not doing it on cement. I see a lot of people putting ramp stuff on concrete in the snow. And it's like,
it doesn't matter. I mean, I usually run on the dirt surface or the beach or somewhere really soft landing, so I don't have a lot of breakage just because of that. But I do notice when you're running on a harder surface, I mean, that's just physics, man. You know, it doesn't matter what truck you're running. And a lot of times too, I mean, a lot of people with the 8S and the 6S trucks that are, you know, going to skate parks and bashing them, they can handle that a lot just by design. But you're not even it's rare you're going full out. You can't even go full out because there's so much power. It starts getting squirrely. You know, you got to kind of ease into it and then hit it right at the top of the jump. And
yeah, it's like it's skating. It's like on ice almost. Like,
yeah.
You know, the way
But it's
when you
amazing.
pull trigger it right off the bat, it stands up and like just like gets a little loose. But
this truck is absolutely. You were right when I was on here last time. We were on here with Gareth, and you were saying just wait. I mean, you were right. You hit it on the head. And I mean, I wasn't gonna get one because I honestly didn't need another truck, and to me it looked like it's something I couldn't tinker with. But doing this build allowed me to tinker with it and get it to a point where it was beyond stock, even though it's basically stock. It was fun to do. And so
the shock mount alone is pretty slick. That's pretty cool.
I had to do that. I had to do that. It was fun. It was a fun build, and I'm really happy I did it. And I honestly can't wait till when it dries up out here and I can get out there and start learning how to drive it, because it's got its own learning curve on how it likes to be driven.
All right, before I lose it and it gets too far back, Sean had a great question. He said, Sean O'Connell says, "Good evening, gentlemen. This question goes out to both of you. When was the first time you caught the RC bug, and what's the driving force that keeps you guys sticking with the hobby?" And I'm going to go with you first on that one, Cody.
My whole thing with the RC thing is my love of cars, period. Like, I am a car fanatic, a gearhead, any kind of car thing you want to attach to your typical car guy, that's me. So RC allows me to scratch that itch, because if you are a car guy, you know how expensive that hobby is. Ugh. I mean, RC's hobby expensive, but you know, it's 10th scaled down.
some things not
per car. Now, if you got 20 cars as a whole, that's
well, no, like I'm thinking the hoops, the shackles on a car. The hot racing ones are $15. I can get full size shackles for my Jeep for $15.
That's true.
Some of it's like
some of it's over. Yeah. But that's for me. That's what keeps me going. Just my love of cars, period. Like, like I said, it allows me to scratch that itch. I'm also a creative, so I just like building and trying new things, and it allows me to scratch that itch at the same time. So that's what it does for me, is like, it's just a hobby that allows me to be creative and just, you know, be around cars. You know, that's what it is for me, and I don't think I'll ever stop doing it. So it's been 40 years.
So what was the first one that you caught the bug, though? Do you remember when you caught the RC bug or got back into it?
Yeah. I mean, I've had so many. I would have to say the Fox. To me, a Fox, and it wasn't even mine. It was a neighbor kid, and he's chasing cars running down the street. You know, like, it was the fastest thing I've ever seen at, you know, 7 years old. So, you know, you're dealing with the Toys R Us stuff all the time, the Tyco stuff, and you see this, to me, you know, this hobby grade stuff, even though it's got the brushed mechanical speed controllers in it. It's still doing 20 miles an hour, and that's crazy fast, you know, for back in the 80s, you know what I mean? So I think that car for it really, like, just did it for me as far as what RC could do. Obviously, you got all the monster truck stuff, the Cloudbusters, the Blackfoots, the Lunchboxes, everybody in the neighborhood had one of those. But I guess for me, my first one that got me hooked was the RC Bandit, the Tyco Bandit. Tyco Bandit. Yeah. Tyco Bandit, because I could get one of those. The aunties every Christmas, every birthday would get me one. So, you know, that was my way to get into RC without, you know, going crazy. So
that's awesome. I'm not a car guy, so mine's different than you. I've been becoming one as I've learned that a lot of the stuff that's in these little toy cars is very similar to what's in the big ones. There's you know, extra stuff with the brakes and things like that, but a lot of the axle builds and some of that stuff is pretty close and similar. You just need bigger tools. So but now that I have the Jeep, I'm kind of getting a little bit more into that, and you know,
that'll teach you everything you need to know.
So I'll stick away from some of the engine stuff and that probably, but some of the other stuff I should be all right with. But for me, it was I raced BMX for 50. I raced for 10 years, from 10 to 20. Broke my collarbone, whole lot of injuries in it, but that was about when I got out when I was 18 and couldn't play guitar anymore, and for like a year almost. After breaking my collarbone and work stuff, and it's like, I better cool it,
Yeah.
And I was in a band, and not playing the guitar was like devastating. So, and then moving to Virginia, we moved right next to this BMX park, these trails, and I got my bike. I brought it down from Michigan next time up, and I pulled my neck really bad. Some muscles and all that, pinched nerve, and I'm a photographer now, and so I couldn't carry like my photo bags, and like I was traveling internationally, and just made it really tough. I realized, now it's about work. Now I got to be able to pay the bills. So, but I want to jump stuff. Like even as kids, once we were in BMX, we'd take a pen or whatever we had in our hand, whatever folds were in the blankets on you, you'd use those as little jumps and like clearing them and everything. Yeah. And so I had to have something. I went out to Target and I just bought what I thought was it's $100. It should do something. It's big tires, and it was awful. Like that's how 7 years ago, how not in the know I was about anything.
And now it's 7 years ago, things was popping really good. I mean, RC was in a good place 7 years ago. To get in at 7 years ago was a good place to get in. Honestly.
I took it back to Target, and I was like, this is junk. It won't even drive in the grass. It's got these big tires. I'm not. So they reluctantly took it back, but and then I saw guys jumping RC cars about 2 miles from my house. I don't usually drive that way, and I came over this bridge, and I'm like, dude, there's a BMX track here I didn't even know about. Turned out it was actually an RC track that was right there the whole time. So I stopped in, talked to some people, looked at the shelves, was drawn to the Gravedigger on the shelf, of course. There's all these others that are like technically, but again, I didn't know anything about RC cars, didn't know what a brush versus a lipo, whatever, but if it's Gravedigger, it's got to be awesome. So I bought that.
That's right.
I needed to break it. The second day I hit a curb, which I can drive it now and make it look awesome, whatever. And people are like, oh, that thing's indestructible. But the people that get them for the first time, and you just run it in your road or you run it in your front yard and you clip things, that's when stuff breaks.
Yeah.
So I sent it with my dad there because I travel. So I had to go out of the country somewhere for work. And when I came back, he had a part for me. I'm like, dude, I told you, like, they work on cars, like fix it, have them fix it. And he said, the guy said you could fix it. Josh Williams, who was in here earlier. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, whatever. And so I had to like use the little L wrenches and everything that came in the box. And take it. Actually, that one was not L wrenches. That was Phillips. So it was actually pretty easy. Because I did have screwdrivers. So
Phillips on things. They didn't switch to hex until later. Yeah.
Right. And I think they're still Phillip. But I don't know.
No, the 4x4, and I don't know if the newer 2-wheel drives have them, but I know the 4x4s are hex.
I know I rip on them now for having it, but I mean, I wouldn't have been able to work on it so easily if I couldn't just use a screwdriver. So looking back, I'm thankful for that. And so, what's kept me in it? I just love it, man. Like, so I do video and photo for work, and it's just kind of a release to just do. When you're doing videos, you're doing what everybody else wants you to do. And so it kind of keeps me fresh and whatever. I get to shoot whatever I want to and just post it, like, and have fun with it. And so that's the fun side. It makes my work side a little bit more fun. Cause before I was doing YouTube about how to do photography and stuff, and it's just more work about work.
Yeah.
So this was like using what I do for work, but for my own fun. And we used to, when we'd race BMX, my dad would always film it, and we'd always at the end come back and watch all the jumps or the things that we were doing, the tricks. And so then the same kind of feel, you're done and you want to put it on the computer and see like, man, I remember that being awesome, but I can't really, was it or not? Until you actually see it on film, you're like, yeah, that was pretty sweet. You know, like,
yeah.
It's just that, like, being a kid.
That's crazy, man. Because I think we're about to. I think we're all the same age, and I think that era, our era of that 10 to 20-year-old, there was BMX was like the thing. I was into it heavy. I loved the flatland and the vert ramp stuff.
Yeah,
and
Haro, GT,
yeah,
Robinson,
man.
Racing,
I mean,
Line.
I was in the Diamondback. I love Diamondback.
Diamondback, yes.
Yeah.
PK Rippers.
Yeah, man.
Castan with the Unifork. There's the Castan bikes.
I lived in LA at the time, and all the neighborhood kids had bikes, and there was like in LA in the 80s was like BMX Central. You know, that was where it was just this. I don't know if it was the Mecca, but it was everywhere. And we would still, go in people's yards, get big, bricks and whatever we could find to make ramps and jump people's trash cans. And you know what I mean? Like we're just trying to outdo each other in the middle of the street, in LA, like just jumping our bikes. We never really went to tracks or nothing. It was just more just making neighborhood jumps. But similar thing, like I never stopped doing it till I was about 22 and I had a pretty bad wreck jumping this dirt area that was made for bikes. And I was like, and I was working at the time. So very similar. I was like, nah, this isn't worth it anymore. I got to stop.
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt myself. I'm not going to be able to do anything. So.
You read the magazines like BMX Plus and that, Rad Comics and all that?
I was into all that stuff, man. I was right there.
Rick, what's his name? Radical Rick.
Mm-hmm. Rad's one of my favorite movies of all time. I know it's a horrible movie, but
I downloaded it recently and watched it again. And like for all the people that give Flying Cars like real trouble, but still like consider Rad to be like a cult classic, it's only because it was you were into bikes. It's the only reason.
Yeah.
Mark O'Connor and all.
That was good time. You could do a bad movie and it was still good. That was
Gary Ellis, baby. Yeah, man.
I love that movie. Every time I watch that movie, I just feel good. It just reminds me.
I have one of the bikes of one of the pro racers back then. It was a Reynolds Racing. It was a Barry McManus one. It's 44-inch wheelbase on it. They had a 42 and a 44. His was a longer. Back then, you used to do like the double XL necks on them, like inverted.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I went to a bike shop to get parts. I'm like, holy cow, nothing is standard anymore.
Dude, it's crazy.
Like, what size tube do you need? I'm like, I don't know. It's just I need a bottom bracket.
I recently just got into mountain bikes. So kind of brought back that whole feeling of BMX, but it's just a whole nother game. I mean, you think RC is expensive? No, this mountain bike thing is ridiculous. Your basic bike that will actually work out there is like $1,500. Mm-hmm. So it's insane. But just to see the type of bikes, I mean, they're the same price as motorcycles.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. I can't
believe it when I was looking at some just recently. I got one of the early on Hyper bikes when they first came out. Now, like Hypers at Walmart, they did the whole Huffy thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Huffy was making like a comeback in the BMX scene where there was the Huffy you'd buy at Walmart, but then there's a Huffy you'd buy at like the bike store.
Yeah.
That was weird. It was, man.
You know what's weird? To see Mongoose as a Walmart bike when that was a legit bike back in the day. Mongoose, it was like.
And Redline went through something like that too, right?
Yeah, totally. So I don't know. That whole thing, getting back into bikes was weird, but I love it, man. I don't know. It's something about it, man. It's just the whole mountain bike thing is. Big America's into it too. He's into.
Yeah, I saw the one where he opened the can or the bottle with the.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So Mike Eaton wants to see the truck. Do you have it right there? You can
yeah. No, I got it here. Hopefully the lighting's okay. Now I actually recently you
can see he crashed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. This is not a self clean,
man.
But you can see how skinny it is compared to. Let me see. I'll get the.
You did a good job matching all that up and cutting that up.
And you can see the line there, but it's kind of hidden. It's just dealing with bodies for so many years, doing this hobby for so long. You just pick up a few things that you know, you use for other things. Now it's all cracked up because 3S, but
Yeah, you got a little support there between the shocks. That's smart.
yeah. So basically, and this is actually held on with a body clip, and it actually worked because when I don't know if you can see that. You can't see that, can you? The shock towers come in. These are RPM ones. You see how much
it pushes in. Yeah.
Yeah, they flex big time. So I got this in here. You put it with a body clip, and it don't flex no more. So it's ugly, but it, you know, if I'm gonna run this setup outside, I have to do it. Otherwise, I gotta put the other shock mounts back on. Now you can see these are with the internal springs with the stock or with the bump stops. And it's got quite a bit of that's right there sitting on the spring. So, and it allows it to, I can't compress it all. I put stiffer springs in there. I had to because this thing was launching so hard. And then what else do we got here? It's a stock, man. I mean, all I did was paint that. I wrapped these blue with that vinyl wrap, and then I did the sway bars. Also, I'm trying to line up the camera. Sorry.
Yep.
Just to kind of give it that look of the bounty hunter. I also painted the headers, the top of the headers, so you could see that they were actually there with all the black. Man, this whole backward thing got me tripping, man. I painted the top of them so you could see that they had headers, and then I'm kind of figuring out what to do here. If I'm going to put the sponsor plates back on, I was just messing with it. It's just a thin piece of Lexan. I might take that off, but I didn't want to change it too much. Also, too, here, I cut that out because I wasn't sure. Oh, there we go. I cut that out. I wasn't sure how much I needed to do to get it. I probably didn't even need to clear it, but it just made it look like the truck.
Yeah, he's got the openings on the side.
Yeah, and then you can see here, basically I bolted it. It's bolted here and here.
Together, the front and back.
Yeah, and I'll take the body off here so you can see what I did with the body. So I wasn't ready for this. Show and tell. Love it, man. Hey, Tony, I really appreciate you letting me come on here and show the YouTubes.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, so here's another little detail I put. I took the Gravedigger guy out. I had a leftover Gravedigger guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't using a cage. And then I just had some pieces of like just plastic tube. Right there, you can see I made a little fake little cage guy there. But basically, yeah, this is what's holding it together is a bunch of layers of this. This is how I bolted it. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, the bolts coming through. Shoe goo.
Yeah, shoe goo and the bolts. So yeah, and this what's the front? Yeah, a bunch of tape, man. Just want to make sure if I was bashing this thing, it didn't break apart on the first hit because this thing weighs what, like 11 pounds. This truck, so. It's a handful, but I mean, chassis wise, there's nothing really different except for the shocks. That's it.
Yeah.
So, like my classic videos with the front end lifting and looking like a real truck. I wanted it to look like the real Monster Jam trucks, and sacrifice a little bit of the, the suspension that it comes with that it actually needs. But I knew I'd be making slow-mos with this. So, but then I got kind of caught launching this thing. I was like, oh, it's kind of fun, but I don't want to. Oh man, it's so tempting to do it, especially when you got 3S. I think honestly, this truck is perfect. Would be perfect. 2S at 100%. Like that. I mean, 3S is great and it's fun and it's great. Great to go 36 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. You tested it at 35, right?
Yep.
With the Gravedigger or the.
Yeah, and that's faster than you want to go with it. It's squirrely.
Yeah. I mean, 30 miles an hour, 25, 30 miles an hour for a solid axle, something that weighs this much is so much speed, especially if it can, if it gets up there pretty quickly. I mean, it's super fun. This truck is so fun. I honestly think the RTR is the better value out of the two options, the roller and the RTR. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that have gotten the roller, but it just seems like the electronics and to get a radio. I mean, you stick a battery in it and you're ready to go. 35 miles an hour and start launching this thing. It's just like it's crazy the value of this thing. So, I don't know. I feel like kind of lonely here. Where'd you go?
Oh yeah, well, we weren't able to see it.
Oh,
That's why I was giving you, I was presenting you so everybody could see it.
Gotcha. So
There's another good question in here again from Sean. He was saying if you could had the opportunity to drive any monster truck, past or present, in an arena show, which truck would you love to get behind the wheel of?
well,
I know yours is going to be old school.
Are we racing or are we doing freestyle? Because that matters.
Just whatever your favorite would be to run.
I would want to run Wildfoot. That's the truck I would want to drive. Wildfoot, yeah. I wouldn't. Okay. Bigfoot 8 is my favorite truck of all time, just because of what it means to the whole monster truck world. But Wildfoot was so much better truck than that, and I don't know, something about Wildfoot when it came out, the way it debuted, that really wheelie it did, it just a new blue, it just something about Wildfoot, man. It just I love that truck, and that's the one I would want to drive is Wildfoot. There's so many others, but that would probably be it for me.
Man, I'm like new school. I want to do the flips and stuff, so I would in a heartbeat choose Son of a Digger's truck. That thing is
a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, older one, not the newest one that came out, the new chassis, the previous one that it was so dialed in. But yeah, that would probably be for me.
Like Gravedigger 20 style during that era.
Oh no, the Son of a Digger. He just had a new one that came out, I think, beginning of 2020 and 2019. Just the chassis was new.
Yeah.
He'd been on the other one for so long, but he'd had it so dialed in. So I would probably choose that. I think he got out of it in 2019.
Yeah.
Somebody will correct me, I'm sure.
This would be fun. This would be fun to drive. This one in real life, just because it's so weird. It's so different. Like I had to get used to it on the track. Like
if you race, otherwise you're doing slap wheelies, and that's about it. Big air and slap wheelies.
Yeah. It was weird to drive this thing on the actual track because it looked like it didn't have any suspension travel unless I was on the throttle. Then the nose would lift because the body's like halfway down the thing, and it just looks like nothing's happening. It just looks like it's riding on the stops. But I mean, it's fine. It's a different build, man. It's totally different. Like I said, Michael Lecter, he did it twice, the two different versions. And I didn't know that. Somebody, I think it was Jeremy Bunting, corrected me, and I didn't know. I should have did more research, but nobody did it with the shocks out the hood.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and I wanted to do something scale. That's kind of what my channel is all about, is replicating the scale, replicating the real stuff. And so I kind of wanted to make sure I did that. So hopefully people are digging it. I haven't posted that much on it, and Instagram hasn't been real friendly as far as the posts lately. Has been kind of suffocated right now. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm gonna just keep posting and do my thing. Last year it was the same thing when I started, and then it just took off. So I'll just keep grinding like I normally do. And I got a whole bunch of other stuff I ain't telling nobody about yet until I'm ready to bring it. But this was kind of like a appetizer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got a Cloudbuster coming?
I think so. I think I need to get one before you can't get one. I went and saw RC Amigos. He got one finally, and I went and saw his. And it's weird because when I went and saw it, I actually realized that's the first time I seen a Cloudbuster in probably like 20 years with my eyes. I hadn't seen one like forever. Like I think it was at a RC race, and they had like a show and shine. That's when the Cloudzillas and all that stuff was popular, and they had a whole bunch just lined up for show and shine. So that was the last time I seen it. I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. So yeah, I think what are they saying?
I'm posting some of the other ones. Cody says Bigfoot 1 because I would drive like a grandma, still get the crowd wild.
That's the one that
So,
started this whole thing, man.
Trailer Trash says Son of a Digger before the new chassis.
I'm surprised
Skinny,
he said
awesome
that.
but modernized would be amazing. I know. I thought he would say a Meats chassis for sure.
Yeah,
Mint.
yeah, Mintz, yeah.
I said it like it was spelled.
Or his best friend, Mikey.
Overkill.
Yeah.
He does some pretty awesome stuff with that truck.
Mm-hmm. As you do before.
I just want to have some of that suspension. Like when you see Son of a Digger, it looks like it's just a little bit smooth for how he gets just.
I love how he drives that when it's just about to fall apart, and he just it's just so
the ragged edge stuff he does with it, and it just like soaks it all up.
It's
I mean,
Dennis
I know he's
times
beat,
10.
but
It's his dad times 10, really. I mean, his dad would do that after a race, before the whole Monster Jam started, and that's what got Gravedigger popular, was how crazy he drove after the race.
Yeah, bonus time.
Yeah. Oh man, good times. But
I'm actually going, man. So I'm going to Orlando.
That's right. You said you were doing that. That's awesome, man.
And
that's awesome.
They're supposed to be. So Scott Douglas and Dennis Anderson are supposed to be like awarded their Hall of Fame because they're inductees for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be at that event in the evening that was going to happen. So, I mean, hopefully it all goes on. I don't know with all the COVID and everything, what's going to happen and not happen, but
yeah.
So that is something that they're doing at the Orlando event, apparently, because by the headquarters.
When is that?
The 27th.
Oh, February.
February, yep.
Oh, wow. It's coming up. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's one of the things I'm doing. I'm going to the Ultimate Scale Expo. Expo in Florida. And they have some little monster truck racing stuff going there, like 30 minutes of it. It's not like an event. It's just kind of like a fun get together and race around a little spot they have. But
yeah.
It says like retro, so I don't know what that means.
Oh,
they're doing a lot of retro car racing too, like a bunch of the old Tamiya retros and stuff. They just race them for fun.
Yeah. Well, you just got to bring the bullhead.
Not gonna bring that. I'd bring a different retro. That thing is all over the place.
Man, that's so crazy when that came out, because Super Pete's from out here where we're at, Oregon, Washington area, and so when that thing came out, it was so cool because it's just it was a semi truck, but it was another Claude with a different Claude. That thing was so cool when that thing came out.
Right.
I actually like that better than the Claude for some reason. Maybe because it was a semi truck. I don't know.
Well, one of the guys here has one that's built and painted. And he's got the stickers, and the driver of Super Pete gave him the files and permission to make it.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's super sick. He also has the Vet, which is awesome. He's got it set to automatically open. He's got it lifts, and it's got the lights in the red lights in the motor and all that. So it's really cool build.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I was actually listening to Josh Rhodes, who you've had on here, and Doug Walker from Trigger King, and they got a podcast, Pull the Trigger, that's on the Trigger King channel. And they were talking about just the racing, monster truck RC racing, right? And then they got into, somebody asked what was their favorite stage one. Was it stage one truck?
Uh-huh.
It was their favorite stage one truck. And I was sitting there listening. I was thinking about it. I was like, what is my favorite? What was that one truck like that you saw that was stage one that was like got you in the monster trucks? And I was like thinking about it. I was like, I think it was the Crimson Crusher for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Truck, that red truck, that there was a flip that it crashed one day in one of these races, and that's kind of stuck with me ever since I was really young. And that truck in particular, I don't know why, it had the gold wheels on it, and I think had the dual wheels on it, right? The dual skinny ones.
The dual thin. Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody's building an awesome one right now on Facebook. It's amazing.
Ooh,
it's such a good looking build.
I'd check it out, but that's, you said the magic word Facebook.
Facebook.
So
Yeah.
We all know how the internet is enough.
Diana Moose says Dennis Anderson will forever be my childhood hero. Right on. So yeah, for me, it would have been like the Grave Digger back in the day.
Yeah.
But I was big into that. I loved monster trucks, so I was big into that. Bigfoot, USA 1,
Yeah.
and the Michigan Ice Monster. Like,
Yeah.
those are the four that I was like mine. Like, if we were playing cars or toy stuff, that was.
No, I got a bunch too, but that was the one that stands out to me that I remember. Like, I'd be drawing it all the time. Like, I love Bigfoot. Everybody loved Bigfoot. Everybody loved USA 1. Everybody loved the usuals, even Gravedigger. But that was that one truck that I was always trying to redraw, and not that I loved it, but I just remember that wreck it had where it flipped over. And that was like a big deal because they didn't have roll cages in those trucks. They weighed like 20,000 pounds.
Yeah, and they're hanging out the window.
Yeah, and it was so dangerous back then. It was like, and that was the cool part, seeing all the glass break out of the windows, and them stalling out on the cars because the carburetors couldn't keep up with all the bouncing, and
and if they crashed, it wasn't like just throw another body panel on or just leave it off. It was devastating.
Yeah. So it was intense. That whole era was great. I love that early, before they started racing them era.
Just go over and crush cars for fun, and
the showcase era. That was great. I loved it because when they started racing, but they shouldn't have been because they were not designed for it at all.
Yeah. So for me, like the Michigan Ice Monster was the standout in that it was local, to us in Michigan. So that was the one that we, would always kind of root for. But those were my big ones.
It was another thing I saw today. Some Josh Rose posted on his retro review channel on Instagram, and it was a picture of USA 1. I think that's the next episode that he's doing. To me, that is my favorite like stage 2 truck. Somebody else pointed out that it's technically a stage 1 because it's not using the big bulky frames, and it doesn't have planetaries. And I was like, okay, well, what deems a stage 2 truck then? Right? Like, because it was basically running, with the stage 2 trucks. So, where's that fine line between it being stage 1 and stage 2? I consider it a stage 2 truck. But I don't know. I mean, if that's the case, it was one of the most dominant trucks in that era anyway. So, it's one of my favorites. I love USA 1. That USA 1, the 89 body USA 1.
89 one. Yeah.
Just the way Steve Wilkie drove that thing, kind of like Dennis Anderson.
Monster Patrol, Carolina Crusher.
Yep, Carolina Crusher, another one.
Be a lot of Carolina Crusher people, I would think too. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite stage 3 trucks. Is Carolina Crusher.
So here's Chad says Terry Woodcock with Freedom Racing is restoring a lot of stage 1 trucks. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if you follow Bigfoot 4x4 on Instagram, but they're slowly, I don't know what they're doing. They're slowly redoing 8.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I can't wait to see what they end up doing it. But I mean, that's one of my favorites. A couple
of restorations in progress, right?
Yeah.
Number 4.
4. They did. They got one at the Pacific. That's on display at the
Oh, we lost him. Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that. I'm on the phone.
Phone call?
Yeah, it was a phone call. It was a phone call. So sorry about that. He might. I hope he didn't.
Tank says he stopped by to give a thumbs up. Thanks for stopping in, Tank. Yeah, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Let Facebook. We're just talking about Facebook. Let YouTube know you guys are here and watching.
I actually posted my first short today. I see you doing it on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Yeah,
it's a sore point for me. I think it's the opposite of the direction that YouTube should go in.
TikTok the third. How about
Well,
that?
and I'm already seeing it. It's just reposted. It's even got the TikTok logos on it. It's just literally content and people that just go and just, shove their stuff. It's like Facebook groups to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you post something and you
Mm-hmm.
post it in every single one. And it's like, and then now the videos are just anywhere you go on Instagram or YouTube. It doesn't, what designated YouTube was that you could actually learn stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is the number one search tool for kids looking to go to college. Isn't Google, it's YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where they go to find out about school. And now these shorts, if you get that kind of junk filling in feeds, it's just and it shows up as, and I don't like, I would rather do a shorts channel where all of my junk shorts kind of would go to, and I'm not saying shorts are junk, but they're just not YouTube to me. Like I don't want them.
They're not high quality
click through my video. Well, you can do them high quality, but when they click on one and they get a certain content, and then it automatically plays the next video in line, and it's a short, and you're like, what was that? This is the same channel.
Yeah.
And I don't think that people that would subscribe to me because of my shorts would watch the other videos. So it doesn't, like, I'd rather be driving to subscribers that want to watch the other content. And it's just a big thing where, YouTube for so long pushed length. Like the more watch time you get, the better the algorithms work for you. And these literally drag that average time down, because if you have, even if people watch the whole video, if it's only a minute long, if your average is 4 minutes and then you throw in a bunch of 1 minute where they watch the whole thing, that just dragged your 4 minute average down to like 2.5.
Yeah. Well, also too, why didn't they got enough money? Why didn't YouTube's got enough? Google's got enough money. Why didn't they buy TikTok? Then they would need to do this.
And they pay less. That's the other thing people were complaining about. That so they just did a whole thing in the background about their shorts and how to read the analytics of it. And everybody's like, well, this is great for you guys. You can offer the advertising how you want to make money off it, but because it's not to my video, I don't make anything off of it. You guys are the only ones, for the most part, that make off it if it's in that shelf. If they watch it in my channel on a regular thing like this or on the TV, maybe you can make a little, but it's skewing. It's just messing up everything in the back end, and it's just a terrible rollout for people that are in it. If you're already in it, but if you're coming to YouTube to do shorts, then that's different. Like if you've got it for Instagram, man, totally repost it. Like. But
well, I mean, I already got it, so might as well,
mine
right?
different. Yeah, exactly. I just want to designate, so I do that already for Instagram and for Facebook, whatever. It's like the shorter stuff. And I was doing it because I was seeing so many people. You can get a lot of views from it. Like you can get I'm seeing people that have under 1,000 subscribers getting 1 million views on a video through shorts. That wouldn't necessarily get that. It's because YouTube is pushing it right now, and so they're pushing the algorithms toward those people using it. Where I'm just like, why don't you just push that toward the people that are already on the channel and making the content you wanted us to make? Why not just push them and leverage that? And you're making everybody jump away from what they were doing and doing well to try and say, oh, well, if YouTube is pushing this, then I need to be making these because that's what YouTube is going to put on the homepage. So,
it's just like Instagram where they push the stories and they're pushing the reels now. And it's like, in comparison out of the two, like I'll get more views now on reels than I do on my posts when my posts were the ones that were killing everything. And so now that they've introduced all these other features on Instagram, it's like watered down the whole thing, and the whole strategy is different now.
Yeah, there's too many things. Instagram's done the same thing. I just keep the posts, even videos, for the most part. I try and keep it under a minute and just do it as a regular
audio. We lost audio.
You there? Can you hear me?
We lost you. We don't.
Can you guys hear me?
Can anybody hear him? I can't hear him. Maybe it's just me. Can you hear me, Tony?
Yeah, I hear you.
I can't hear you. We don't got no Tony. Yeah, I can't hear nothing.
No?
Nothing. Still nothing. It was delayed for a minute, and then
They say that they can hear us both.
Is it on both of us?
We can both be heard.
I can't. I'm just reading your lips now. I can't hear you. Yeah, I don't know. We lost audio. Maybe it's when my phone call happened. It kind of threw the signal off. We both went out. Oh, my earbuds went out. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. Hold on. Hold
There we
on.
go.
I got it. I had it back up. That's probably what it was when that phone call came in. That. How
There.
about that?
You hear it?
No. Nothing. I
Still
can't
nothing.
hear anything.
Here, hold on one second. Let me do this. We'll try and get it back in here, guys. We'll see if it gets him
1,
back
2,
in.
3, 4, 5. Check 1, 2. I cannot hear anything.
So
he
just can't hear me,
hear anything,
and I can hear
Weird.
him.
Oh,
maybe he's got it.
That's why. Hold on a sec. Sorry, guys. It's bad. It's my fault. I think this is my fault. I usually don't use these Bluetooth headphones, but I think it wanted to go to Bluetooth.
So is anybody in the chat going to USTE?
Weird. Let me see if I
can
do this.
Trailer trash.
There we go. Okay.
Oh.
I can hear now.
Through the computer or through your phone?
Phone, yeah. Just
okay.
Straight phone, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
What were we talking about? I think we started talking about Facebook, and then that happened. So.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Instagram and whatever. Yeah, they heard.
Yeah, they heard it.
YouTube guys heard, and they were like, "Shut it down."
But no, like it's just that the strategy is different now because they introduce so many new features, and if you don't use them all or use the ones they're pushing, then they suffocate your post, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
Normally, like the size of my account on Instagram, I would get a certain amount of views, and I could count on that usually.
Yeah.
And now it's just like it's nothing like where it was before. Yeah, it might be a couple of things that me not being on there for a month. That might be one thing. I just need to jump start it again. I don't know, but it just seems like
Well, they do like frequency, so that's one thing that would probably slow it down.
Yeah,
in their push of it. But
and I get that. I've been on there for 4 years, so I mean, I get the ebbs and flows of how the thing works. But when they introduce new stuff, I mean, I was on there when they didn't even have stories. So
right, that's another thing I don't love.
Yeah,
a bunch of GIFs stuck onto pictures isn't my. I don't like making them. I hate making them.
I have to say, if you are going to make shorts, just make them in Instagram and then throw them on there, since you can't put stickers.
But that's the thing, and it's the same thing with YouTube. It's like, why don't I just put it in stories? Why do I need shorts? At least if I put it in stories, it disappears because it's junk content that I don't need to store. Right? That's the whole point of that. Is like, it's junk, it's throwaway, it's disposable media, and it goes away after a day. But the other thing is, it's like, it's separated, so the stories aren't stored in my video feed, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
it's better. The community posts, those are stored somewhere else. Okay, I'm finally getting used to that. It's better that way.
But you're talking about on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like stories for YouTube.
They have where you can post images and polls and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's another thing to try and allow community and conversation in a chat form with pictures.
I'm still trying to figure out the whole YouTube side of it. I've been on Instagram for so long, and I know I need to kind of spread my wings a little bit and not be so concentrated in one area. I think you're either an Instagrammer or a YouTuber that you kind of fall in one camp or another, and you can do both, but you kind of more heavily one towards the other. So, but I've been kind of itching to want to get on the YouTube side a little bit more, and just based on the type of content that I make, I got to change my whole approach.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's a whole lot harder to get views on YouTube too, because people got to choose it for the most part.
Yeah.
Like it'll roll you in sometimes, like up next, that is nothing like a reel where it ends after 5 seconds and it's already watching the next video, which is usually unrelated.
Yeah.
They choose whatever to throw at you. Like, okay, I'm watching an RC video.
Yeah.
Here's a Russian car crash for you just because we thought you'd like it. Here's a guy getting mugged in the middle of a street, and like on a security camera. It's like it makes no sense. And I was like, yeah, man, I got a ton of views, but it's like
it's low quality views.
So
it's really low quality views, and it's just watering down the whole platform, in my opinion, based on where it was before. And
what I don't want to, I mean, it's becoming like YouTube, and I get on my phone. I almost don't like watching it on my phone because the first thing they're showing are those shorts, and it's like people dancing to a song that I could care less about, and I really don't want to watch them dance. Like,
yeah. There was a cool thing, I want to say in 2019, where you'd open Instagram and everything you saw was a TikTok. It's like, am I on TikTok or Instagram? Like, what is happening? And
yeah, everybody's just reposting. It's got the logo. Yeah, like, first of all, who wants to use a platform that puts their watermark on every one of your videos?
I don't know. We're getting old, man. We're talking like the two guys, the two Muppets in the
I'm ready, dude. I'm up there. I'm grumpy old men all day long. We'll do it. I'll be Walter Matthau. I'm for you.
Get off my grass.
Yeah, man. Mr. Wilson.
Oh man. No, I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there for sure. And I don't mind it at all, one bit.
And I love technology changes, but as a media person, the last thing I ever want to do is give somebody the right to put their watermark on my image. There was a new guy starting a channel, and I'm not going to say his channel name or whatever. He's gotten more popular on Instagram, and he started a Facebook page too. And he said, "Hey everybody, post up your best pics in here. I'm going to get you, like, I'll post them to my Instagram. I'll put my watermark on it and mention that they're your photos, blah, blah, blah. Give you credit for you, get views." And I'm like, you have 50 followers on Instagram. You're asking people to let you use their pictures and post your watermark on it, and you're going to post it and use that to grow your channel with other people's stuff because you don't have media of your own to build from that's quality. And it's just like, then I called them out on it. So I'm like, this is like, and people were posting pictures. That's the crazy thing. People just want their stuff shown, like you go on YouTube or Facebook and ask people to do a contest or whatever, they're going to throw their pictures in. Like, you can post something about something completely different, and they're going to just post their picture as the comment and tell you to look at their truck. You could be talking about how awesome the new low-C LMT is, and they're like, "Hey, check out my SCX-10.3," and here's a picture of it, like, and totally change the subject with it.
No, but it's the thing to do.
I don't get it. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't want you putting that's the last thing I want. Like, okay, yeah, one thing, give me exposure and whatever, a repost. Hey, this is a picture from so-and-so.
Yeah.
Don't put your watermark on it. Like, you did nothing to earn this picture or put your logo on it.
That is one thing that eked me being on Instagram was people, I didn't understand the whole reposting thing. Like when people started doing it, and I'm like, I'd see the notification in my feed. I'm like, what is, I think it's a comment, right? And it's an actual repost. And they gave me credit, but I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what are you doing taking my pics?
Yeah.
And I finally realized what was going on. And it's a thing on Instagram, which is one thing I don't like about it, because it's kind of like, you're out there burning packs and getting content for hours. You could be doing something else, hanging out with your family or doing.
And they give you the credit, but it doesn't actually give you the views.
No. And it's just, it's kind of just like, the whole
I appreciate at least the ones that do. If they just say repost, I'm cool. Like, at this point, I don't care. But
but I'm just saying the environment of Instagram. I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But the Instagram being an environment where you can do that, and it's not. There's no.
Well, you can actually have it removed. Like, it's your content. So
I just didn't understand it at first, and once I kind of figured out, okay, that's what it is. But that's just one of those things about Instagram that I don't like, is the fact that you can do that, and there's not really a lot of, there is some recourse, but there's not a lot you can do. So it's I don't know. like I said, I've been itching to get on the YouTubes more. I've had the YouTube since 2017.
Yeah.
And I've never posted anything, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing it all these years.
Yeah.
Just 'cause I'd be used to it one, and then who knows what it might have took off with the Instagram page too. So
It's a beast to keep up with.
yeah.
The one thing I do like about Instagram and all that is I can go out for a day and I can have content to post for a week or two if I want. Like I can just kind of do different shots in 15-second bits, you know.
Yeah.
But when you have to use it all at once, it's like, ooh, I got to come back out and do it again tomorrow.
It is. It's a very strategic plan. Like I know, okay, if I'm going to burn one pack, I got to get as much footage, knowing how I'm going to post it, and kind of drive and do things that way as long as the truck stays together. And get as much as I can. Just now. Every shot counts. So I have so much repeat stuff because I'm trying to get a certain thing for it to do. It didn't do it, or I didn't get a frame, or whatever. You know, it's just like it ends up just crazy. But again, I went out Sunday, and I got a couple weeks worth of footage now I could post on Instagram, like you said. You know, that's the cool part about it. You know, and it makes it easy, but. You know, if it makes it harder for the post to get any traction, and they want you to post reels and all these other things, it's kind
of reels are upright, so you got to shoot it a certain way. And I'm like, I don't like shooting upright. And that's the other thing with stories. Like, I refuse. Like, I'm old, okay, yes, but I refuse to shoot vertical video.
Yeah, it just
like
doesn't
even doing it for story hurts me. It pains me.
Yeah,
to do it upright.
You see on mine are still side or horizontal. They're just in a little box.
Yeah.
So, because I won't do it either. I'm the same way. I'm I've gotten to that point where I'm not a photographer, but I kind of think like one. So I understand that whole thing. I get it.
So, photographers shoot upright. I mean, it's portrait and landscape.
I know, but there's
for video, like we've been fighting so long to go 16:9 instead of square, and now we're like, well, now we should go upwards instead.
Yeah. I just like it to be a certain way.
You want to see nothing but ground and sky. A very tiny car that you can't tell what it's doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's crazy too? That was the thing that drove me crazy about when I first got on Instagram was you couldn't see. You just see a RC car jump over something way far away, or you couldn't see what was actually happening. You couldn't see the paint job. You couldn't see the suspension. And that was kind of what inspired me to kind of do the close-ups and the slow-mos on my page, was so you could see what was actually, it was like a, like extended picture, basically, so.
Yeah.
And then that whole thing, that whole slow-mo thing, I didn't even know Citizen was on there at the time. And he'd been doing it for a year before. So to find his page was cool, but it was like, that was what started the whole thing, the whole snowball. So, but now I'm like, I don't even know what to do now. The way Instagram is now, it's like, I'm just going to keep doing what I do and hopefully it works,
Yeah.
I just keep building these trucks, man, and hopefully people like them.
So we're talking the video side of things and the social media, and when you're trying to make it more of a business, it becomes more than just fun of just posting videos whenever you want. And so it does get a little bit frustrating when they're constantly changing stuff. I know that RC Sparks has, had his ups and downs with YouTube and how they change everything after they, you set everything up to be their way and then they change it. But the Citizen RC stuff, the slow-mo stuff's awesome. But really, I mean, it's fun stuff. Oh, I forgot to show you.
Oh, what's up? Oh,
I got the Demolisher tires from Proline.
That looks good. You get another set of rims. You have to take the old rims off, or the old tires off.
I've been very busy.
Just like we all, man. You just didn't wait out.
First off, we finally are getting it on.
Ah, nice. I wonder if that's what, I wonder if that's what Big's gonna use for the body on his truck.
Oh yeah,
it might be too small.
This is tiny.
Yeah, don't they have a short course version of those?
Yes.
Yeah, so he might be using that, but that's awesome.
That's something like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they've got the Megalodon one too by Proline. So this is in underworks. But
okay, there we go. And
I just writ dyed them. I writ dyed them.
Okay.
So you can see where the mold starts. It didn't really go in there. So I'll go in there with a marker or a paint pen or something.
Yeah.
But where the form starts, the little,
Got it.
you can see the little spot there where it starts, ends, and
Yeah.
pulls. But it, for whatever reason, it did not adhere there. Or so yeah, I'm gonna go back with a paint marker and hit all the little beads on it. I'm not sure what color I'm gonna do them. The outer ring.
What compound are those tires? Are they kind of like a J Concept
green.
blue?
They're green, so I think it's like an outdoor all-purpose.
Okay, so kind of like a J Concept gold.
Their blue is their outdoor.
I thought blue was their sticky one.
The blue.
I thought blue was the soft, sticky one, and the gold was like the all-purpose, like harder one, clod style. That's what I thought.
I always get blue, and it's supposed to be the one that you'd use out in dirt and stuff.
Well, like for the Renegades, right? The blue Renegades are like the ones that everybody uses on dirt because they're the sticky.
They're soft.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the golds are more like basher.
The golds are more firm.
Yeah.
Well, I still bash with everything blue.
Yeah, all my J Concepts are blue. I don't get any golds, but I just was wondering kind of what the equivalent of those pro lines were as far as, you know, tackiness or.
But the firm ones are more like if you have smooth cement or something, that's when you see people use the gold.
Yeah.
But if you're on like asphalt or you're in dirt or grass, I always do blue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this feels like to me. It's that softer.
Got it.
They look really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to throw this. Yeah, gold is for indoor. In most uses for the J Concept.
Yeah. Those are really aggressive, and they got the little cuts in between to kind of mimic the Renegades. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like they've been shaved or burned.
How do you like? So can you? I mean, you've driven enough monster trucks and all the different tires and stuff. Can you kind of tell the difference as far as handling?
Oh yeah, big time. I love for racing the Renegades. But I'm now liking too the JCT ones, which are like the BKT look.
Sure.
They're still kind of aggressive in a way with the way that the tread pattern is.
Yeah.
I have the gold years on one of my monster trucks just because I like the look of them. But
those are my favorite. I like the gold.
They don't do great on the SMT10.
I don't know why they have so much grip. I don't know, like. I have all the tires except for the JCTs, and I don't have those because I've never had. All my trucks are old school, so they fit the other ones better. But what's this thing? What do we got here?
This is the chart for like the gold up here.
Okay.
So blue is the soft and kind of your general use.
Got it.
Let's go into monster trucks. Let's see if they.
But what I was going to ask you was more beyond like the tread pattern and the compound. But I was going to say, as far as the difference between having the short court style rim on an LMT versus the regular 2.6.
Oh yeah, it doesn't roll over as much. I find that they drive really well. They're some of the best stock tires.
Yeah.
I've had. So they're medium gold that come with the monster truck tires. They're more of a medium.
Yeah, because they're not hard. They're not like clodbuster hard, but they're pretty stiff. The LMT tires out of the box.
Yeah.
And they got. I mean, I was pulling wheelies on wet asphalt. So.
Right.
Once they get a little temperature in them, they still grip, and the cleats on them are so deep.
They're really deep.
Oh.
They tear up the dirt.
Super nice looking tire, I think.
Here it says the soft blue compound is recommended for dirt, grass, asphalt. Feels noticeably mushy and sticky. Has expanding characteristics. And the gold is harder to touch and excels on carpet, astroturf, and polished concrete.
So harder surface, yeah. Harder, slicker surface.
It expands less.
I like these tires on here. Honestly, I didn't notice any ballooning.
No, not really.
Yeah, they don't balloon that much.
And it's probably partly due to the way that it's molded too, with that bigger inner part. You don't have as much rubber there to expand on the inside.
Like when I saw my Monster Slash with the JC or with the J Concept wheels and tires on it. It's about as fast as this. It might even be a little faster, but because the tires are soft and they balloon, it makes the handling of that thing so crazy. Once they grip, it's just on its lid right away, or it's just kind of just feels like you can't completely keep it pegged because then the wheels start ballooning. The tires start ballooning. So it's just a different feel, driving that versus driving this with that much power. This feels super stable. Honestly, to say this is kind of crazy, but this almost feels like a really stiff ground pounder. Like as far as the way it handles, not that the ground pounder is great or whatever, but it just the stability of it. The ground pounder is pretty stable for it because it's super wide. This feels kind of like that. Just when you're turning and stuff, and I don't know if it's a combo of the short course or the sway bars on it or just the overall width by itself. I mean, it's not that much wider than a SMT, right? With the
no, it's pretty much the same width. What's different is that the other reason that this works so good and turns so well and everything is because it sits so far in over the knuckle. The wheel does.
Yeah,
it's not. So the way that it turns, it really gives you a lot more steering.
Got it.
So that's one of the benefits of this setup. But JMRC says Papa Wheelies on ice with stock LMT tires. They're super grippy. They're heavy, and these aren't going to be much lighter. But I'm not a huge racer. I go to the races. I like racing. But I tell you what, for just a basher and like scale freestyle, scale monster truck look, the way that with the weight of the truck out of the box handles just looks so good.
Yeah.
The way that it gets upset and it looks like, I don't know, it just looks realistic.
I almost like looking at that tire. I mean, it's a good looking tire, the new Proline one, but I mean, these tires out of the box look so good already. Like, I don't know if it's more of an aesthetic thing versus a performance thing, because if
some leagues won't let you run these because they don't look scale.
Yeah.
So our league doesn't seem to care. Like, wouldn't it be funny though if like the real monster truck said, "Hey, we should do that with our wheels," and like actually like modeled them like this instead, and like full scale, like it's cost of or price of innovation, I guess, is it's like that's not the way it's always been done.
It's crazy to think if you put this thing on a diet, how fast out of the box if it hit over 40 out of the box.
Yeah, it's going to change everything though. It's going to change the suspension. It would require so much change the lighter you make it, because the suspension is tuned for the weight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. And I've been seeing people do lighter diff oil too, which I think will help it not skate so much, because it'll help it track better. I also say the trio axles have more toe in on the rear.
Is it a 5
that helps? Yeah, that helps.
Okay. Yeah, it keeps it more stable.
Yeah.
Speeds. Yeah. Because you got.
And so I thought that the front was toe too, but I was wrong. It was caster that they did 5 degrees. It just said 5 degrees, and I'm just like, well, why would they do 5 degrees of toe on the front?
So it's because the RTR and the kit come with a different rear rear hubs or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're different degrees. Is that what it is, or are they just replacements? Like, I haven't even done any.
The rears, I think there was only one option.
Oh, there's 0.
Front, the steering, you can get a 0 or a 5 degree.
Oh, okay.
But it's caster.
Oh, I see. So just the angle that it's sitting towards, like pointed towards the back or the front
for
of the
steering. Yeah. Well, rotated.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If it's rotated a little bit, so when it turns, it's rotating that angle of it.
Yeah. Got it.
Or not like the camber.
Yeah. No, the actual angle of the.
Yeah, it's rotated. Yep. The
clocking, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yep. Solid axle talk. You
Yeah.
got it deep.
But there's some cool stuff coming. I do have two. I think I'm going to put this on my race truck. I got these from JER, who was in here.
Hey, okay. Uh-oh.
It literally bolts on. So
It
where
bolts
the
on to
wings,
the middle part.
yeah, you just leave the metal part and you literally just swap this in, mount your electronics and your shocks to it, and you can then run other bodies. But it'll be lighter than having the plastic cage and all the extra stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Because you have, the wing anyway. So you have a little bit of extra through here, but it'll give you that look, but still, so I need to get to this. I wasn't ready. I have too many projects right now.
Right?
And I'm trying to get ready for USTE. So I just tore this guy down.
Oh, okay.
And I found that my Hobby Wing axe system is just jacked up after 2 runs that I put on it. 2 days. Very expensive electronic system gone.
Is that a 3?
Yeah. So I've got it running again. This is the Hobby Wing Fusion. I had one already.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I got it ready to go again.
Man, I'm missing, honestly, doing all this monster truck stuff for last, what has it been since I mean, we've been going all year, but just hard since Halloween, basically. I miss crawling. I really miss I'm getting that itch, and it's starting to get lighter out, later. So hopefully we're coming to some nice weather here pretty soon. I want to get out there again.
This is my other one I'm taking.
Oh, look at that. Look at
so
that.
TF2, it's been upgraded by not me.
Man. Did you heat that up yourself?
Yeah, dude, I did a bunch of, like, when I got it, it was blue. So I didn't love the blue.
Yeah.
I'm not a blue car kind of guy. So here, I'll go full screen. It'll be easier to show you.
Yeah.
It's not monster trucks now, but.
No, it's okay. It's RC.
So we rusted it, put the dents in. There's a long scrape here, like it went across a tree.
That's awesome.
Or something. And
is that a hard body?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put all these. It's actually to look like scratches from trees. I did like silver paint going down the side, like streaks of it.
Got it.
Rusted the top of it. New hood. I lost when I crashed recently off of a 8-foot drop onto rocks. I didn't realize it, but I lost one of the lights here, turn signals. So I'm just going to cut a piece of gray duct tape into thin strips that look like duct tape and just kind of have them strapping across it. But yeah, big dent on that side. And
how much does that thing weigh?
It's heavy.
Have you weighed it?
I haven't.
I know mine doesn't have a hard body, but my Gladiator that I got on my page, I weighed that thing. It was 9 pounds.
Wow. You got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, and a lot of it, mostly it's all in the wheels. I put the wheel weights in the wheel, and then I put those brake aluminum weights on the inside. The weighted ones. That was a lot, but I have full interior. I have 2 characters in there, and lights, and I mean the whole deal. So that thing was weighing a ton, almost as much as this thing.
Man, yeah, those are heavy trucks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The what is it? My little smoking motors.
The sled.
I was looking for the guy that I wanted to put in there, and I totally forgot that I put him in this TF2. So I was like blaming my kids for losing him. Because they always come in and take little figures.
John Cena. Who is that?
No, it's one of the RC 4-wheel drive guys you could buy from them. Okay. They're fully articulating and all that, and they're smaller, which was what I needed for that.
Yeah.
So I was totally blaming them for it, but yeah. And does anybody in the chat, and have you used this too? Have you done any of the RC 4-wheel drive stuff? I'm so wanting that. The truck. Man, I'm blanking on names. It's the D90 truck basically.
Oh, yeah. What is
Defender? The Defender truck. It's like the Heritage Edition.
Yeah.
It's like a mint green kind of color.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name either.
We don't have them here in our shops locally to look at, but I'm just really curious. I've been watching a lot of videos on it, and I'm trying to pull it up here to show you what it looked like. Here it is. Humane has it on their site. So getting off my monster truck kick, I've been really looking at this guy.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But they got the Yoda axles and all that, hard body. The back of it opens and everything. It's super cool.
That's awesome.
I don't think they show it on here. I should have come to RC 4-wheel drive site. But yeah, I've been looking at it.
I've done a replica to JK, man.
It's close. I painted mine to be close. It's a JLU though, or it's a JL.
You're JK.
Yeah, that's what mine's very close to.
Okay.
Well, actually, my first one. I'll show you the back of it really quick because I know you love scale stuff.
Oh yeah.
With these, all the doors open, the hood opens, the back tailgate opens.
Man, holy crap!
Yeah, so that's just the light.
It makes it. You know what sucks when manufacturers do this? It makes it not fun to try to figure it out. After the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because you can just buy it now.
Yeah, you can buy a lot of hard bodies that open and stuff, but there's a lot of detail work you can do still.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't painted. I wish it was still unassembled, but
yeah. Well, you can always wrap it though.
They have kits of things, whatever, but
yeah. No, I'm missing crawling, man. I know you got the little 24 scale setup. I was thinking about getting one of those. The JL.
Yep.
And just while I'm stuck in the house, just have a little setup over in the corner or whatever, but just to scratch that itch,
They're fun. I like the Kyosho one a lot.
It's a little bit smaller though, isn't it? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
24.
It's more scale. Like the wheels aren't out of control. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and isn't there a difference when you get in those small ones, like between like how the ring and pinion is? Like, isn't there a certain one?
Some are worm gears.
Yeah. Which one? Because I don't know. Which one is the one that, like, if you want a little bit higher speeds, which one is better? Like the non-worm gear type trucks, or is it the worm gear trucks?
Yeah, non-worm gear would be better.
More traditional ring and pinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think that's so cool, and especially with the little mini monster trucks that guys are making.
Yep.
Out of them, that was kind of what made me want to think about getting one.
I've looked at them and looked at them and looked at them again, and it's about $300 all in to.
Is that or a great bigger SMT, man? I don't know.
Right?
I think I'd get the SMT or a Cloudbuster or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture of the one that I have that's it's not pulling up here, but my Jeep, I have one that has a Knight's Custom Anchorage grill that's black.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it looks like my Jeep, except my Jeep needs black wheels and it needs a light bar. And it'll be close.
So this is very interesting to me. You not being a car guy, right? What made you? Because a lot of times people, and I'm really heavy in the Jeep community, a lot of people know what a Jeep is and why they buy a Jeep, right? So unless you have previous experience with one, or you just absolutely love it, what made you choose the Jeep? I'm just curious. Because most guys that are car
couldn't
guys,
get a Defender.
What's that?
Because I couldn't get a Defender.
Oh, okay, there's always yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's the closest thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always loved Jeeps, but I mean, it's such an iconic American thing. I don't know. I'm not a big truck guy.
Yeah.
My wife's like, a truck is more practical than a Jeep. You can haul stuff in. And I'm like, I got a trailer. I can just tow it behind the Jeep. For how little we use that.
Yeah.
And the minivan hauls so much stuff. I don't need. But I got it for off-roading, man. That's why I bought it. Okay. So, I bought that.
That's why a lot of people that never were into anything, like that get it. I mean, that's another reason.
Yeah, I mean, because in all my travels around the world, we off-road and go all over the place,
Yeah.
And, we Defenders, whatever. A lot of Toyota Hiluxes, actually.
Yep.
But Yeah. So in America, what do you get? You get a Jeep, and so the white Defender with the black top and all that was kind of like, man, that would be my perfect with the
You're
black
talking about
grill
the
in the front.
D90, right? Not the
D90. If I
yeah,
could get that, that would have been my
yeah.
black grill on it, white, black top.
Yep.
That would have been it for me.
Those look good, man. I deal with a lot of Rovers on a daily, so I know about them a lot more than most people. And,
Yeah.
those are probably the only ones I would, if I had to get one, I would get,
But you have to get, they got to be so old because of all of our standards and stuff. They have to be antiques. But
yeah. Well, plus if you get one that old and it's still running, then it survived and it'll be okay.
and parts though still are just expensive. So that's why it's what's the Discovery I also like as well a lot. The older one, like 2002, 3, somewhere in that range, because they look like safari vehicles.
With the
and we take them out in Africa. Yeah. So, but again, I was trying to buy one and use. They're expensive, but you have to get premium gas.
Those ones are always broken.
And they're always broken. Yeah.
Those are the ones that gave Rover their bad rep, for them being unreliable. That and the Range Rover, Range Rover's like, if you get a Range Rover, make sure you got another car because it's going to be in the shop more than you're going to be in your garage.
Right.
That's kind of its stigma, I don't know. It's weird, that whole brand is a lot of the business that I'm in. I deal with a lot of European and British cars, and they're the most beautiful things you'll ever see, but they're always in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, I need some work done on my transmission, I think.
On the Jeep?
Not on the it's a manual, and I just right. Although it's tough with rock crawling and all that. Once you get out there with a manual, I'm like, why did I get a manual?
Yeah. You don't see a lot of manuals. That's like the hardcore guys. But
man, But I mean, when it's really tricky anyway, you're in low, and you're not changing gears anyway. So
yeah.
But the it's been awesome. But I think in the mud and everything that it's an 11.
Oh, so you got the updated interior for that JK?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. That's the one to get for a JK.
So it's a Rubicon.
Yeah.
But it's got this, when you let off, it's like a whoa, 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 like you can hear some of the.
You haven't been initiated into the Jeep world yet, have you? With the death wobble.
Hit once, but I've got stabilizers and everything on, which really help. But if you even if you hit wrong and you're like, it's usually like on an entrance ramp when I'm coming around a corner and there's a weird hip in the
seam on the freeway.
Yeah, and if you're really hard on the acceleration, I thought I blew out a tire, but it was.
So I worked at a Jeep dealer. It was a Jeep, GMC, like it had all the American brands at this dealer when I first started working. When I was like 19, 20 years old. And that was when the YJ, which had the leaf springs, that was right, like kind of was still new, but they weren't selling it anymore. Right when the TJ came out.
Yep.
When they first came out with the coil suspension on them. And those were so scary to drive. And we had a bridge we'd have to go pick up customers, and it would going over the seams and stuff. It wouldn't death wobble. It just seemed like it was always like weird. So I drove a lot of Jeeps before I actually bought my first one, which was an 08 JK. And I was blown away because how it drove so much nicer than the TJ.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is crazy, right? Well, come to find out later in the ownership of it, it was a rental in Hawaii. So it wasn't taken care of very well. It was used. And so I was missing sway bar, bolts. The stabilizer was gone. The tires were kind of like wore out. And the first time I hit the death wobble, I thought, and I had my son in the car. He's in the car seat in the back. And I thought we were going to flip over. And we're going 60. And it's just, it feels like you're going 60 miles an hour over railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst.
You got to let out the gas and just.
And it happened to me too in Seattle. I don't know if you've driven out here, but it's I mean, people drive crazy anyway. And when that happened, it happened in Seattle. And I had to slow down to 45 miles an hour on I-5. And then I got semi trucks coming at 80 miles an hour at me. And I was like, this is crazy. I had to figure out what was going on. And so I did the internet research, YouTube research, figured out it was a bunch of different things. I ended up finally fixing it. But I've never had that happen. And apparently that happens a lot on the Cherokees and the, coil over front suspension Jeeps. That happens a ton, even on Fords and, the live axle Fords and anything with live axle that can happen to for a bunch of different reasons. And so that's why I asked if you got initiated, because that's kind of like, once you go through that, you stick
once bad, and then another time where it's like that. Like when you're in Michigan, like I took it up there and we went off-roading up there and all that, but they go like 90 miles an hour, and ain't no way that Jeep wants to go 90 miles an hour.
That's scary at that fast.
So yeah.
60, 70 is like
it's noticeable. Yeah, it's not comfortable. I finally feel okay at about 75, but because there's speed limits up there, it's already high, so they just push it further. But no, it's awesome. I mean, I've wanted one for 10 years. I've wanted a Jeep, and I wanted exactly what I got: white, awesome. Black top, and then a black grill. So it has a worn bumper on it. I have a nice 1,200 pound winch.
Okay. 12,000 pound.
12,000 pound.
Yeah.
Winch on the front of it.
You can pull you and a friend out.
Right. Just overdo it, right? You always don't want to underpower it, so it's only a little bit more.
I miss Jeep life, man. I miss the waves. I miss just having the open top when it's nice. I miss the whole thing. And they drive like crap, but I don't care. It's just part of having a Jeep.
This one drives awesome. My wife even loves it. She thought it was going to be loud, whatever. And it wasn't loud until I started having, once I hit 5th gear, 6th gear, it's the transmission's noisy. It's much more road noise, like a constant, like a hum. It's like a bearing. Is what it sounds like, because when you let off, then you hear that bearing as it goes. So it's probably just because I got in the mud and probably seized up a bearing, and so until it gets too noisy that I can't bear it, or I have extra time to tear it out, I'm not going to.
I'm sad a little. Well, I'm not sad, but I was sad when it happened. The new JL, when that came out in 2018, I was waiting for that thing to get announced and come out, and the car I had before that blew a head gasket, and I needed a car. And so the dealer, it was an Infinity dealer, so I ended up getting a new Q50. And literally a day later, they announced the JL, and I was so mad because that's what I wanted. I wanted a JL, but I'm glad I waited or wasn't able to get it, because when the Gladiator came out, now they got the hybrid that's out, and they're going to do the hybrid for the Gladiator. They just announced that a couple of days ago. Which is, it sounds crazy because, if you're a car guy, hybrid, but honestly, that's fixed every problem with a Jeep, which is gas mileage and power.
Yep. And the fact that you can run it on gas. So, like, I don't get, like, the West Coast being, like, all electric vehicles. Like, they can't even keep power on. Like, they turn people's power off. How are they going to charge your freaking car?
It's just the tech thing out here, man. I don't know what it is. They don't understand. Like, they're not car people. The people that are attracted to the whole E thing. They're not car
I like the E thing. I think electric cars have a ton of power.
Yeah.
I can't get through recharging is way different than just refueling. And that just changes a whole mess of things. So the hybrids seem to be the way to go.
Yeah.
Where when you are just doing those short drives, you're not using gas,
Well, it's rated for 25 miles EV mode. So that's full, if you commute, that long, you could at least get half the trip with no gas. So that's pretty cool. Or if you go to the trail, you can run it the whole time on the trail with no gas. So, I mean, but the fact that it is a hybrid, you're never going to have that range anxiety where you run out of battery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just looking straight. But the fact that it has almost 400 horsepower in a Jeep. It's 0 to 60 in 6 seconds. That's crazy. That's insane to me.
The amount of power. I mean, I drove a Tesla up to, not a Tesla, a Toyota Prius,
Oh,
up
okay.
to
Yeah.
DC and back on like less than a tank of gas from here. And then I filled up in Williamsburg, which is still an hour and a half from here.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I got there, I'm like, well, I need to refill it before I give it back to the rental place. It took less than a gallon to fill it. I mean, it took so little to fill it back up because I
Well,
just couldn't believe it.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but apparently by 2030, car manufacturers aren't going to be allowed to sell cars with just a gas engine. It has to be minimum a hybrid or electric.
Yeah.
So we got 9 years before new cars. Now, all the old cars that are already out, you can't do nothing about that. But as far as making a new car, it has to be a hybrid or electric by 2030. That's what's coming.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Hope you guys fix your electrical grid, which is powered by what?
Exactly. We can do this all night, man. I know.
There's going to be a lot of power being used to charge those cars, but it's yeah.
I know, dude. It doesn't.
When even Michael Moore is asking those questions,
it's like, do we really understand the full circle of how this works?
Right.
No.
Well, it's the same in RC though, right? Because the nitro guys are still like, they hate that things have gone electric.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're all electric, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't really want to deal with nitro. I don't mind the gas cars. My Raminator, everyone's like, oh, you need to go electric. I'm like, dude, this thing's awesome on gas.
Yeah.
You know how many batteries and how expensive it would be to operate this on batteries?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you drain your batteries so fast.
By the way, I think you posted the electric version of the Primal.
Yeah, it's got power.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's crazy. That is insane. The Primal Raminator, for all those that don't know, there's a electric conversion. I don't know.
Monster Parts. Jimmy says that's why Dodge and Ford are dumping mad HP into their cars right now.
Yeah.
They got to get it in while they can.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing, man? I can't see any in the comments unless you put them up. So I'm just that's our guy there on Instagram, Jimmy Monster Parts.
Yeah, man. He's the one that made my Megalodon body.
Yeah, man. That guy.
And I've got some headers and stuff, or collected pipes.
Doesn't that make you mad that this stuff is coming on trucks? I'm not mad, but guys that make these parts now, this stuff is coming on there just out of the box, which is cool. But it's like all these guys have spent all these years making stuff, and now it's like manufacturing it. It's like
everybody wants different versions.
Yeah,
they've made it easy to mount them though.
Yeah.
Some people are gonna want different style. Like I'm gonna want a single one, Avenger style.
Yeah.
Or Megalodon has a single one too.
One of the versions of this, I forget. It's like the Captain's Curse version. It's the one with the blue and stuff all over. It has the headers coming up the side of it. And I was thinking about doing that, but it's not this version of the truck. I'd have to put like these like super long, like 10 mil spacers on it just to get it around the body if I was going to do that. So
yeah. Somebody's saying they're already making body panels made of solar grids to keep the vehicle charged. That's cool. The only question though is solar panels are very hard to dispose of, and so are batteries. Like we don't even know what to do with our freaking car batteries, our LiPo batteries when we're done with them. To dispose of them, what are we going to do with all of these car batteries?
I have to tell you though, if like one of our accounts that I deal with also is Porsche, and I get to deal with the Taycan.
Yeah,
quite a bit. That is the coolest car. Just I don't care electric or gas, whatever. It is the coolest car.
Yeah,
the fact that it is electric and it makes that noise, that Jetsons noise. Oh my gosh, man! It's even just tooting around the parking lot, it makes the noise. It's crazy. Man. Oh, it's amazing. If that's where we're going, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah,
I don't.
Sign me up, right?
Yeah. I mean, not for $250, but still, that's a cool car. That is an amazing car. Amazing.
Yep.
So,
Hitmansky says, "Nice truck." Here, hold it up and show him the.
Oh, hey, thanks, Kevin.
Hold on, I gotta get to you.
He did this truck too back in the day. One of his early builds, but it was the fat body. And so it was kind of, once I put two and two together that he did this on one of his earlier trucks, I was like, oh, I got to do it on his new truck.
I love the body too that has all the gears and stuff all over it that they came out with.
Yeah. So thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. That means a lot, you know. And thank you for making this truck for us to launch 80 feet in the air.
One of your headers is twisting there.
Oh yeah, I only got one screw on there.
Oh,
I was trying to decide where I was gonna.
where you wanted it?
Yeah, where I wanted to place it. So yeah, I'm still tweaking with this thing a little bit, but it's a fun. It is amazing fun truck, man, and I can't wait to see what other people do with them. You know, over time, people start getting that tinker itch, and you know, Kevin just released a new body. He just did that Yamaha body. It's the same body as this. He left it, you know, full size, and it looks really good on there.
Who did that one?
Kevin.
Oh, with the that's right. He has the
the crawler raptor.
Crawler raptor body, the longer, yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it that. That seems to be the body of choice. I know Hemi Storm did that body too. So, and that's what I saw everybody grabbing that body. I was like, man, I gotta hurry up and get this out there before it's just flooded with this body, and then I just look like a copycat. You know what I'm saying? So, plus this was such a unique build with the shocks coming out of the hood. I had to try it and see, and it worked out perfect. And I'm super happy with it. I'm pumped to just get as much footage of it as possible, and hopefully everybody likes it. You know, I'm digging it. So it's a fun truck. Great truck to kind of have as a standard to measure everything else up to, as far as power and durability, you know. So I don't know how you feel about it as far as compared to your your freestyle truck, the frog. That frog one. What's that one the Pro C?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you compare the two as far as like handling and like just driving ability, like obviously two different styles of truck, but
oh yeah, hands down my freestyle is way more controllable.
Is it?
Yeah, tracks super straight, doesn't have that skate issue, lands like
it's like a wet pillow.
Yeah, just and it's, you know, there's no rebound, it's just hit and stick.
Yeah,
you punch it, instead of it wheeling up, it just the whole suspension just rocks the body back. And the wheels stay on the ground for the most part, unless you have just too much power.
That's crazy.
But you can just take off. It's meant to race.
Yeah,
so
pure race truck. This is more geared towards, you can race it, but it can survive a basher.
Oh yeah. And so can the others. The only thing that they need to do, because their axles are super beef, their chassis are beef. I know that there's a lot about that truck that impresses me, but the links in the rod ends, those are what I break on everything else.
On the LMT?
Never broken them on the LMT.
Yeah.
Everything else, like my freestyle, if those didn't break, would go all day long. Because those axles are indestructible. The chassis is so thick, you won't do anything to it.
You're not. That's got a cantilever on it, so you're not running trailing arms, right? On the Pro C.
No.
Yeah. You're running on axle.
Right.
Yeah.
But it busts on the steering. Steering link.
Okay.
It's a Revo rod end.
Yeah.
And but the ZRD, same thing. That's the big cage one. That's awesome looking, and that one is the one that goes, you know, every time I bust the ends of the lower links off.
And those are freestyle ends? They're not?
They're made by Revo or Traxxas
Traxxas Revo push rods?
Yep.
Yeah, 5318s. That's what I use on my trucks too. And I use RPM ends. And I use short or long ones, just depending on how, you know, the body. So that way I can get that clocking on the axle correct.
Right.
But I've never ever in the 3 years that I've been using that setup, maybe I'm not running enough power, but I've never broken those off or snapped those off. The RPM with the push rods. So I might not be running enough power. That might be my problem.
Yeah, well, the weight of them too, and the break point of those, there isn't one, so it's those.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the LMT. I don't know what the break point is going to be now that I have Trio axles on. Like, if you really stuff it, so that's why I'm afraid to get rid of. Like Trio just made the knuckles in metal too, and I'm like, cool, but like,
yeah, where's the weak
what
link?
breaks next? Either my $150 servo takes all of that, but still, at some point, the servo breaks, and if you hit hard enough, where's that power still go?
Yeah,
The whole thing pulls, and it right onto those links.
I would say. I
So
mean,
the links would probably bend, or I don't know.
The rod ends would snap. I mean, if it's that much force going in there, because that is literally at that point the weakest link is those the rod ends. You know, I mean, I don't know how deep they go. I haven't taken
But
them
it's
apart.
pushing, so I don't know. Like, it could break.
Yeah,
but they're captured in a way that they're really captured.
Yeah. This thing is beef, dude. When I took it out of the box, I could not believe how beef this was. Just straight beef. Like, it's crazy. How just I don't know. It's just it's insane how they designed this thing, and it is literally like a solid axle mini X-Max. That's what it feels like to me.
Yep.
So
and people are saying it'd be the rod ends or the links, but I'd rather break a knuckle than bend links, or even the rod ends. It's kind of a pain in the butt to switch them out. I'd rather take off a wheel, pull 2 screws, like it's so easy to change out a knuckle.
Yeah.
And they're like $8 for a plastic knuckle. So that's my thing.
Are you having luck with your Kingpin thing? Is it still?
I haven't lost the ones in the Trio yet.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know there's a few things on this truck. Everybody's kind of, keeping their eye out, I guess, on, watching the videos and keeping an eye out on the forums or whatever, or the forums. Facebook is the new forum. So
yep.
I'm not on there, and I'm not going to be on there. So it's, you guys have,
and they're awful as a forum. They're not searchable in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have sticky posts in the same way.
Good old forums, man.
So it's the same questions over and over and over. It's not searchable as well from outside through Google or anything like forums were.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bummer. I miss the good old RC forums.
Yeah, no, we had that in the car world. That was big time in the early 2000s. Was the forums? That's where you went to find anything. That was that was YouTube.
Pull up in a search.
Back when we had dial-up.
Yeah, man, my RV stuff still from those forums pulls up in searches. Nothing from Facebook does.
That's
trying to find out what oil filter I needed for my V10 Triton Ford 2002 V10.
Yeah.
Because I normally take it up, but it's such a pain to get an oil change at one of those. You don't just go up anywhere. Like, there's a few places, and like I realized the hassle of the time to take it up and drive it and get it out and do all that. It'd be way faster to just change the oil myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it's so easy to get under it.
Yeah. Well, there's certain cars, man. You just have to just get up underneath and start wrenching. Just, it just saves you so much money taking it somewhere.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's what I did. I had the bumper on and everything. I've had to go from the inside and strap up in different ways, and just a nightmare.
What do you got? I mean, I know it's a new year. Happy New Year, by the way. Even though every day's a new year.
Yeah.
We didn't establish that.
New day.
Every day's a new year, so that's how I look at it. But what do you got down the pipe for this year?
Me?
Yeah.
I got lots of builds. Little less on the buying front because I bought a tractor.
Oh yeah, you're having too much fun.
So lots of tractoring is coming.
You got way too much fun with that.
So waiting for stuff to dry out right now. But yeah, you'll see probably more on the SCX 24 course.
Okay.
And then you'll see some builds I did buy one more thing recently, and I say no more buying, and I'm looking at that RC 4-wheel drive. But I got the Losi Mini B, the buggy, and a
okay.
brushless system for it. I just bought it straight away when I got the car. I just ordered the brushless for it. I don't even plan to run it once stock.
Yeah.
So they're pretty inexpensive. And I'm really loving the racing and how it's making me drive better. Going up to the buggy and running buggies.
Yeah.
And trying to land jumps and time them and get the right speeds to do the jumps. It's a lot
that
of
whole
fun.
thing that's a whole nother thing, man. I love off-road racing, but it's a whole nother thing than on-road racing, monster truck racing, whatever you want to. That's like that whole timing, the motocross timing, basically.
Yeah.
You don't want to case nothing.
No, I was watching some of that on one of those reels or the shorts that popped up next. There's a guy riding front. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love watching Supercross still.
Yeah.
Something I wish I could have gotten into, but we had 3 kids. That's why we did 3 boys. That's why we did BMX. Too expensive to do.
Yeah, dude. No,
motocross. And my dad didn't know motors either, so that's where I picked it up from. So I'm starting to learn to do small motors with the Raminator, and we got mini bikes and having to maintain the carbs and stuff on them. But
have they kind of taken to the RC thing yet, or they're still kind of no?
No, they got really excited today when I pulled out the RIT die and wanting to do their trucks too. One of them had Max D fire, so I'm going to leave the red on the Can-Am for that one.
Yeah.
But the Soldier of Fortune ice doesn't look right with red under it, so we had to pull it all off and just dye it. Well, what happened is my son actually took off. I had him take it apart, and he left one of the trailing arms somewhere, and so it's still red. So, and I'd already poured out the dye, so I've got to get some more dye. I'm just gonna put it on for now. At least it'll able to be reassembled because the trailing arm's really easy to switch when I have it ready. But yeah. People are saying RVs cost more per hour to work on than semi trucks. I bet. But you try to go to a semi place that works on them. But I've actually got a really good company that hooks me up and is very. Usually you can't get in without a month wait. You have a problem, and it's like, well, I'm going camping this weekend. This guy will get you in and make sure that you can go on your trip. That happened when we went up to Axial Fest, and I wanted to tow the Jeep. He literally set up the whole tow thing in like 2 days' notice.
That's when you lost the brakes coming back, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So from that, I got all new bearings in my axles, and I got new brakes.
Sorry, I'm not stalking you.
A bunch of stuff. No, I got a whole bunch done, man. After that trip, I had a whole lot of work done on it. I said, dude, I bought this used. It's only got 55,000 miles on it. You know, 10 years old, basically.
Yeah.
Just look it over. Tell me what it needs, or, you know, if it's under this amount, just do it. And so, you know, he redid the bearings and the axles and gave it a good look over while he had it apart. So
I was going to ask too, since we answered some of those other questions, I didn't know if anybody else that's still in here, or if there was any questions earlier about the truck that I didn't answer, or that.
Yeah. And I want to know what you got going on this year with all your stuff. I know you've been hinting at a bunch of little things.
Yeah. Well, this was one of them, just getting a lot of footage of just the LMT, and just Cloud might be coming, possibly. A lot of it depends on the, you know, whoa, that was weird. All up in the camera. A lot of it depends on the just how the year goes. Just, you know, a lot of changes this year, and just, you know, seeing how work goes and seeing how this RC thing goes, and get this out of the way. I'll hold this up. But I got a couple things RC wise, RC build wise, that I don't want to give away too much until I'm ready to kind of show it. And it's something I've never done before, but I feel like if you're a monster truck guy, and it's something you should do at least once or try. So I'm gonna try it and see how it goes. But just other things, I'm not trying to do too much this year. Just kind of just basically ramp up the quality, I guess. of the
Mhm.
footage, and just the whole presentation of everything. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going down, but I really can't even say a lot of it until it's in a certain point. So I'll definitely, you know me, I'll let people know.
Yeah.
I'll let them know what's going on. But you know, it's hopefully this year, you know, will be obviously a lot better for everyone than last year. Even though there's a lot of good stuff that happened last year amongst all the craziness. Just seems like the last part of the year was insane. But overall, I mean, besides obviously, you know, the obvious stuff, there was a lot of good and bad with last year. So, and I think that happens no matter what's going on. There's always the good and bad, you know, and you just got to be plan for, you know, what you want to get done and what you want to do, and just kind of roll with the punches as they come. Can we see this custom LMT just got here? Yeah. So, and if you want to see more, you can go to my Instagram page. I have the full build on there.
And the link is in the description of the video. But you can see he's gone and done the cutouts, and he's pulled the rear shock mounts for the SMT10. He put up front to hold the front shocks and get them to stick out of the body.
Actually, these are RPMs now because I broke the axial ones on one of the jumps at the track. So I bought some RPM ones because they're a lot more. But now
they're more like licorice.
Yeah, they're super flexy, which I mean, I could run it like that and it probably won't break, but it's not going to be handled very well, you know, it being that loosey-goosey. So this is what the, you know, it all drooped out, you know, when it's not drooped out, it's where we at? Like that. There we go. I'm going to lift weights here.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Do some curls. But yeah, skinny body, bounty hunter. And, you know, I rushed this one out. It took from, I bought it on February 8th when the truck came out, and I got it done on the 18th. So it took about that long to get this body done and kind of get everything where I wanted it so I could present it. And
you got stickers and everything made that quick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was just, because I didn't know when Big was going to drop. I knew everybody was going to get it and start doing stuff. And, you know, I'm kind of known as the scale guy as far as like, or not the scale guy, but just recreation of real trucks. So I wanted to kind of get mine out there while it was still fresh. And, you know, the LMT was still kind of untouched as far as that goes. And so hopefully I picked the right truck to do that with this truck. I mean, I know a lot of guys, there's a Bigfoot out there. There's, you know, Mike Vodder's truck. He was one of the first ones to do a custom, you know, non gravedigger or whatever, son of a digger. So, you know, I was just trying to beat everybody to the punch, and, you know, this is fun for me. Doing these are fun. The build part is fun for me. More than driving. I think recreating and, you know, trying to match the real thing is so fun for me. I love that part. But then, you know, the driving thing is a whole nother thing, because most of the time for the last 4 years now, I've been driving one-handed. I don't even know if I know how to drive two-handed anymore.
You need to get you a mount for your camera.
I got it, man. But by the time I get out there, I'm just so, it's just what is it? Muscle memory. I'm just out there, let's just go. And by the way, you say it all the time. It's so easy to drive one-handed with this truck. The radio is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I love it. I actually really love the radio on this. I have a DX, what is it, the 5C? Yep. You have a rugged, right?
Yep, the rugged's awesome, but yeah, these are.
I like the way the way this feels, and just the length where it is to be able to one hand drive it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
The 5C, I do not like it at all.
No, and the problem. I don't know why they do it. There's got to be reasons, but so the benefit of getting the C in like the Pro is that you can have like 99 cars stored in it.
Yeah, yeah.
I have 3 of the ruggeds, each with 20 cars in it. So because it only goes up to 20, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not buying, like, make a Pro version of the rugged then, because I don't want the C.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I want the thumb grip. I want everything that's about the rugged. I'm not buying it because I'm cheap. I'm buying it because I can drive one-handed with it. But now I can only hold 20 cars instead of 100. I know some people. I should talk to them about that.
Yeah, right. My biggest gripe with my 5C, there's two things: is I can't drive it one-handed because it's the way the steering wheel's out too far.
Yep, and down. Yeah.
And if you move it, the wind touches the on-off button and it turns it on all the time. I can't stand it. It's so sensitive, the on-off button. It's so sensitive. It's like, what's that noise? What's that noise? And it turned itself on every single time I use it, and it's so annoying. But I mean, it's nice to have, like you said,
these ones are like that. It's hard to turn off, but it's too easy to turn on.
Yeah.
It just needs to be tapped, but you got to hold it to turn it off.
I was like, what's going on with this?
But
I couldn't even find the button at first.
John Martin's asking what this is, and this would be cool if it was taller and this was able to kick back more.
Is that glued on?
No, it's actually.
Oh, okay.
It's covering a Bluetooth module, so it actually clips in on the top. But if they made this nub taller, so the camera could actually be adjusted, so you could actually film with it here, and what it's used for is doing their spectrum map.
Got it.
See it, but it would just need to be a little taller to kick more like this.
So you can see
and then
it.
you can literally film with it.
Yeah.
And it would be mounts right to this, and it'd be so cool.
That's
so I keep looking at it like, how do I take this off and put in a different? Or the only other thing I wish that they would do is if they put like a 1/4 inch threading right here, then I could put in one of those little small rig adjustable ones that could put a foam mount or whatever. All they need to do, they don't even have to make it. They just need to put the metal screw insert in here. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
They could just thread it into, or on the bottom. Either way.
Probably get a reamer and drill a hole smaller than what the screw would be, right? And
it needs to be metal reinforced to hold it, because you're going to put weight out on it.
Yeah, that's true. But
so,
still,
or
that would
from
be
the bottom.
perfect.
Because we do all these clamps and stuff in order to do it, and it'd be like, man, if they could just put like right here a brace in there.
Right? Is like the hard part about that is being able to monitor it but still drive it, right? To be able to see it and drive it. That's because I've taped a couple on it, and I couldn't get the driving it and then monitoring it and keeping it at frame at the same time. It's kind of hard. I mean, I know you got it.
It'd be better on the top, but mine I get so it's out in front a little bit, like here, so I can just see it behind the controller.
Yep.
But yeah, all it needs is the threading, and then you could thread in adapters and they've got to know that people are doing it. If they start doing that kind of stuff, it'd make theirs stand out.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it's not proprietary. You can literally screw in any adapter. Like they make the GoPro ones that could screw into there.
We're giving away.
I almost thought that the Rugged has that little bar that runs through. It's got those little tabs that hold it in.
Yeah.
If they would have made that so that it literally just unscrewed and you've screwed your GoPro in there.
Well, you know what, Tony? Now somebody's going to do it because we put it out there. So it's going to happen now.
It's the handle and whatever, and it's protection. But I just, you remove that. And if that was the same size accidentally that you could screw in your GoPro into it,
dude,
that would be.
It would make the job a lot easier. We get so much better footage because I know how to drive. I can drive this thing, whip this thing in the air, do all kind of crazy stuff, but I can't do it one-handed. Especially at these speeds. I'm breaking stuff at these speeds.
That's why I do the clamp. And actually, I ended up cutting those 2 notches that I talked about, and that strap I took off and I just ground it down so I could clamp my GoPro mount on.
Yep.
But they're gonna need to think about it. Because 1, they want people to see their stuff. 2, people are filming RCs. Why not make it easier for them to do free advertising for you, filming it?
Exactly.
And make it better quality.
Send it out to us.
I'll call somebody.
You know a few people.
I know a couple. I have to apologize to one of them about something. So I'll call and apologize and then say, now do what I want.
But yeah, to answer your question, I can't really say a lot of what's coming, but because I kind of the impact of showing it when it comes is part.
Why don't you just do the widescreen thing in advance so we know it's coming? Just he's gone again for 4 days.
Just change the colors.
Something big is about to happen.
I was thinking about doing that every month just to cap each month off of posts. It's
Nice.
just like, you're all caught up for the month. We'll be back on the 1st. It's funny though too. That's funny that you're the only one that got it. You're the only one that got it. It's just because like I said, the whole year had been nuts for everybody. We've been going hard. The whole, doing those 2 contests, running into the holidays, it was just a tornado of stuff. And I was just like, yo, I got to take a break. I'm tired, physically tired and just mentally tired. And I got to get a bunch of life stuff. We had actually our washing machine, and we just bought this house like a year ago, and the washing machine leaked all over in the laundry room, and
Oh, no.
came down into my RC room. So we've been dealing with that pretty much right when that happened. So it kind of was a cue. It was like, you know what, let's turn off RC for a second and go deal with life and get kind of organized and come back strong. So yeah, but you were the only one that guessed and got it right. So I don't know what prize you win. I don't know if I can send you anything, but a white shirt or something.
Make some new stickers, man. Oh yeah.
No, we got the new logo thanks to RC Amigos. So
Awesome.
get some stuff going with that too. So
Big America just stopped in.
hey,
Says go for a wide view. You get all the action. You get it all. We just want a way to clip it onto our controllers easier.
Just some tape, man.
We've got some ways. It's just usually most of mine are all broken here because I clamp it and I need to make a plate that now goes on the bottom and
yeah
protects it. But anyway, well, guys, thanks for coming in and checking out Cody's awesome bounty hunter. RC Amigos is about to go live in about 30 minutes, I believe. Talk about RCs.
He's got the whole Scale Metal Supply gang on there, so that'll be cool.
So yeah, you'll want to tune in for that in 30 minutes. Head over to RC Amigos. Tank RC is on Thursday nights. You've got, of course, Harley and Scale Builders Guild Wednesday nights is always a lot of fun and hilarious. One of my favorite live shows to watch. So lots of stuff coming up, guys. We've got Sean's RC Adventures on Sundays, Flips on Saturdays, and then Javier 11 Charlie RC on Monday night. So it's there's always something live for you guys to watch. It seems like my buddy RC Guy Garage, he might be on now. I'm going to go check. He's on all the time. So I always check and see if he's on when I'm on and looking for something live to watch. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks, Cody, for joining us.
Tony, thank you so much for letting me do this and show everybody. And I appreciate you so much for just, being who you are in the community and being such a good guy and just a good outlet for all of us, man. I appreciate you. So thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody in the chat for joining us. Trailer Trash, you've been here all night. Earl Moorhead. Who else do we still have in here? Monster Parts is in here still. Guyana Moose, Angry Yank RC, JMRC. See you guys. Have a good night.